This is Doug Walker. You're watching The Crazy House, Crazy McCormick.
Of course, something's going to screw up. There goes my camera. What's going on, y'all? Crazy McCormick here. Welcome to the Crazy House. I'm just going to go ahead and go through my usual opening as I try to fix this camera in the hopes that I can make it work, and I can, because I have that kind of god tier status. And that's probably something that a lot of people probably don't want to hear, but you know what? I don't care because I think it's funny. I think it's even funnier if it offends somebody. Anyways, so sorry if it doesn't look like I'm paying attention. I had to fix this little fucker on my vape, and I couldn't get that done until just now. So how's everybody doing? How's the week been going? I gotta tell you, man, it's interesting. I don't know why I missed out on the shit that I'm about to talk about on the show, but we're going to go ahead and get into some of this news. And if it looks like I'm tired, it's because, yes, that's exactly correct. I am exhausted, and I don't know why, but it's just been going like this for quite some time. But enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and get right into the show, shall we? And yes, Chronic, that opening before my intro, that in fact was Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Crate. So yeah, the Chronic was today years old when he found out that Doug Walker is down in Kreyz in the corner. How cool is that? Anyways, let's talk about some of the news. And the first and foremost that I wanted to talk about, because I don't normally talk about twisted shit, but this isn't twisted shit. This is fucking Al Azul Elu shit. And Camp Zool 5 is coming up in September. So I'm sure that that's got everybody's fucking timbers shivering right now. Excuse me a second. I haven't vaped on this thing since I fucking woke up for my little quick power cat nap. But yeah, that's basically all this is just the announcement of said Camp Zool. So Cincinnati Fear Fest presents Camp Zool 5 along with Long Live Evil. More blood, more gore, more blasphemy. Really? I mean, can't we have the debauchery as well? I mean, like that that feels like something that is missing out of the situation, you know? September 5th to the 11th. Probably find more information on campzool.com because this is all that I've seen so far. But it's interesting how like it gets towards the end of the year. That's when everybody wants to do everything, whether it be the fucking float, Camp Zool, the Gathering of the Juggalos, Hollow Wicked, Big Ballers. I wouldn't be surprised if if there's gonna be like a surprise attack of the ninjas or some shit like that. That pops up like something that's going to be twisted related. It can't be just Astronomicon, you know. I'm sure that they might try to do something like, you know what we need in this you know what we need in this Juggalo society? More Attack of the Ninjas, and that could possibly be happening. But yeah, so Alazul Ilu, Camp Zool 5, September 5th to the 7th. So mark your calendars, get your time off if you can. If not, quit your job and then fucking go there. If you can't afford it, break in. I don't give a shit. That's actually something that's going to be applied of something later on in the episode because you've already seen the topic of the episode, the subject matter, the name of the episode. We're going to be talking about the Bruce Brothers, but we're not going to be talking about that for a couple minutes. There's a couple more things that I wanted to talk about, and this is probably going to make it so it's a very short video. But never. But who cares? You know. I know I sound negative, but trust me when I say I'm not. I've actually been kind of excited about this episode, even though I didn't have a whole lot of information because you know some of the topics that I talk about on this shit. Anyways, yeah, let's go to the next fucking piece of news that I forgot that I can't fucking push on here. Fuck. Damn it. I knew that there was something I was fucking up. All right. I forgot that my like some of the things that I have on here are AVIF files, and for some reason, the my app doesn't fuck with those. So I guess I'm gonna have to open this up and do shit the old-fashioned way. Hold on, maybe I can do this much quicker. Yeah, just indulge me for a second. I think I can fix this problem. Okay, I don't know why that's open. I don't need that program anymore. Okay. Yeah, my apologies, y'all. I really didn't mean to do this. Okay. So just if you give me a quick second, I'll be able to wrap up what I'm doing. Son of a bitch. Don't you hate it when your host is completely unprepared for his own fucking show? Someday, I'll be able to do this show right. But today is not the day. I guess I got to figure out how to make this show a little bit more interesting. I guess. But all right. Oh, Big Will, you you're such a kook for coming into people's chats that you don't like. Anyways, here's the show. Back to what we're doing. So JCW, somehow JCW is promoting the Hell of Pain and Diamond Rain tour, and it's all done by JCW. That's the host. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So we've got the Hell of Pain and Diamond Rain tour. It's only 4 shows featuring live performances by Violent J and Ouija Mac. Apparently, they had done something. Yeah, that the band This You Coward is Big Will. Anyways, yeah. So this is something that ICP, or I should say, Violent J and Ouija Mac did, combining with JCW Lunacy. And I guess it went well with flying colors, so they're going to do it 4 more times. Towards the end of April, so that's the end of this month, in case you didn't know the chronology of time. So the April 24th is going to be the first of this 4-show tour. 4 days in a row they're going to be doing this. So they're going to start off at the Apollo Theater Thursday, April 24th in Rockford, Illinois. Yeah, that's funny. The city of Rockford, Illinois, definitely brings back memories of yesteryear. With a guy from Canada who I fucking helped destroy. It was funny because he was an idiot. It's easy when they're idiots, maybe too easy. If you know, you know. Fat naked guy, all that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, the fat naked guy has nothing to do with this. JCW doing the tour. The second day is in Joliet, Illinois on the 25th, Friday at the Forge. Okay. Great. Cool. I mean, these are all Midwest shows, so I'm surprised. You know? I wonder when Jay's going to do what he said that he was going to do and have it so JCW is going to be weekly on Wednesday nights on Triller at at fucking Harpo's like he said he was planning to do. I wonder if that's ever going to be if that plan's ever going to be in the works. But then again, after all, it is Violent J, and we all know how he gets excited about shit, and then he like overhypes and underperforms or underdelivers. It's one of those things that happens all the fucking time with Jay. And I'm not saying that to be a hater. That's just honest to God's truth. I mean, like when you've been down for this shit as long as I have, you tend to pick up on one or two things. Nevertheless, after the Joliet boy, going to Cleveland, Ohio for Temple Live Cleveland Masonic. Dude, the name of that place just made my head hurt. Temple Live Cleveland Masonic. I mean, I would think it would make sense if it was the Cleveland Masonic Temple Live. Instead, somebody with full word like dyslexia, full word dyslexia, not where you like take one or two words and one or two letters in a word and mix it up. This is full word dyslexia where they just throw a whole bunch of words in random order. Nevertheless, that's in Cleveland, Ohio on Saturday the 26th. And then they're going to be doing the same thing. Columbus Anthem, Temple Live Columbus Anthem in Columbus, Ohio, April the 27th. So, yep, featuring live performances by Ouija Mac and Violent J. Experience the chaos live with JCW Lunacy tapings packed with non-stop action. I mean, is it just regular non-stop action, or could it possibly be total non-stop action? I don't know. But yeah, new episodes every Wednesday. Watch anytime on YouTube. Well, yeah, I guess the Triller thing that they were planning to do isn't working out because nobody wants to pay to see. Like, think about this, okay? Like, you have the budget. You have the budget, obviously, to book these JCW arenas, to book all of these wrestlers. JCW has the capability of doing that. Why would you try to fucking look? You get enough viewers, okay? You get enough viewers to do a 1 hour taping every Wednesday and put that motherfucker out on YouTube. You're going to get your money fucking back. You know what I'm saying? Like, guaranteed, you're gonna get your fucking money back, especially with a lot of these lower tier, like Juggalo based fucking motherfuckers that they book. It's like you're gonna get your money back, guaranteed. You know, especially with how many Juggalos are actually willing to watch wrestling. And Jay, like I know for a fact, has put something out there in the universe that is going to make it so he can get his fucking money back. Like, wrestling has been very good to Jay. It's just that sometimes his drive to fucking do stuff with it doesn't seem to fully work out. But someday it'll come. You know? TNA goes by many names. My God, just pick one. Well, but you see, like, you have this cast down here, and this is actually a pretty good promo package because you've got the Backseat Boys, you've got the Brothers of Funstruction, you got Luigi Primo, you know, Danny Moe, Mickey Knuckles, or Isabella Smothers, if you will, Willie Mack, Cocaine, and some other fucking people that they've been incorporating into this shit, which, honestly, yeah, I agree originally. JCW has been fucking doing it well. Like, even with some of the shows that I've gone to and seen and watched the shit live, I love the shit. But let's talk about some other shit other than this. So if you guys are going to be in the Illinois or Ohio or live there or something like that, you want to watch some wrestling, Jay's been fucking doing good. To be totally honest, like, I like the bookings. I love the booking situation that they have, and it's interesting. Like, some of the characters, Cocaine as a prime example, 100%. That is purely got to be a fucking Juggalo themed fucking gimmick. You know what I'm saying? But the next topic of conversation that we got to get into is this. ICP is going to be at another fucking one of those another festival thing called Summer Smash, and this is the flyer that's specifically made for Insane Clown Posse, and I guess they decided what better spot than, I believe this is supposed to be either the Tempest era or the fucking Bang Pow Boom era that they decided to take the picture of, because this doesn't look like, you can tell if you look at Jay's teeth, you can tell whether or not this is current. You know what I'm saying? Because Jay got them fucking veneers, and then he ended up getting the fucking he ended up getting the grill that's for the fucking veneers. So, and believe me when I say, man, Jay with veneers just looks, I still think it looks very awkward. I'm just saying. You know, like it just makes Jay look totally unrecognizable to me. And I'm not afraid to fucking admit that. But anyways, yeah. So you've got the Summer Smash, the Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash, presented by Speakerbox. An Insane Clown Posse is going to be there at the SeatGeek Stadium on Saturday, June 21st. And if you guys want the rest of the books, right here you go. Look at this shit. They're basically them along with Little Yachty, and yep, there's Insane Clown Posse, and then a whole bunch of fucking names that are unrecognizable to me. Um, yeah, I don't know why it says like. Did you see that shit? Like, look at this shit. Summer Smash. It says that they're booked for Saturday the 21st, like on the 21st. But here it shows them at the very bottom. There's Insane Clown Posse, June 22nd. But nevertheless, you've got Young Thug closing out the night on there. Performing Sunday night as Chance the Rapper. But yeah, you know, there's like there's like a small handful of fucking names on here that I actually recognize. Mostly it's the people that are fucking headlining the shit. I don't know who that is. Let's see. I think I've heard of Ski Mask the Slump God. I believe I've heard that name, but not incredibly sure about that one. You got Saturday night headlined by Future. Sunday is Young Thug. Then you've also got Little Yachty on there, Little Tracy, Insane Clown Posse. Like here, like how the fuck do you have on the Saturday? You have Soulja Boy opening up for Future. If and I don't know who this is, Don Tolliver and Yeet. I don't know who either of those are, but I would think that Soulja Boy would at least be headlining Friday or something. You know what I'm saying? To me, that would make more sense. Just because of the fact that Soulja Boy's got a name. And also at the same time, I also know that Soulja console did not tarnish Soulja Boy's name that badly. Okay? Soulja Boy did not tarnish his own fucking name trying to sell bootleg consoles that badly to get him knocked off the fucking headline at any place. So yeah, if you see any of these names and you're actually interested in this shit, I guess go to the summersmash.com. You should probably be able to get tickets for that. But I would think names like Young Thug, Future, Soulja Boy, and Insane Clown Posse would be big enough for them to have a decent price on this. But then you have a bunch of these other SoundCloud rappers that I don't like. Benji Blue Bills. I literally thought that was like Benji Boner Pills or something. Net Spend. You literally named your name Net Spend. Isn't that a fucking internet service provider in some way, like an old one from back in the day? Just Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Here's another chance for a joke. Sounds by Harmony Korine / Edgelord. Bro, what? No, no, fam. Fam, you don't know Edgelord, all right? I bet you the guy named Edgelord is probably same type of guy that would probably get triggered at the sound of a fucking well, me trying to talk about fucking Trump. He would probably get triggered by that, which would make me the Edgelord. But I could definitely say that I am. Okay, and more sounds by Filthy. Zach Bia, DJ Boner Boy. Okay, that guy is more edgy than Edgelord.
And by the way, I just want to say, fuck Crazy McCormick. Whack as fuck.
Shout out to Kyle Driver for that $5 super chat saying Babytron, LOL, JJ's best friend who we booed off stage at the gathering. Oh, and here's the last one. Sounds by Lotto. Well, my motto: fuck Lotto. I'll get your mama 7 digits for $1 tomorrow. I know, corny as shit, but I don't care. Oh, okay, I see Babytron. Okay, well, yeah. I bet you. I don't know. Maybe. That's interesting. Little Tekka. Okay. Oh God. A lot of these people missed their calling to be fucking crunk rappers in 2000s by making their first name Little. There's way too many Littles. There. I don't know. Kyle. Are there too many Littles around? I figured I'd ask you. I feel like no, personally, I feel like that there's too many Littles around. Yeah, little. LOL, Tekka. Oh, I guess that phrase actually could segue into the next fucking thing. Speaking of chicks who I would like to make my little. I saw this on TikTok. You're gonna love this. So I hate TikTokers that fucking do this shit, but I'm giving this one a fucking a buy for one reason. That's fucking Meechin from the WWE. This came across my fucking feed. Like this is the only video that I've ever seen Meechin in on her own fucking channel on TikTok, and this is the one. Fucking Meechin. And look at her. She is a fuck. Like the caption there says, they say girls who listen to ICP in high school grew up to be baddies, and oh my god, look at her. Just in that, just tightening up the pigtails, her little Asian ass, tightening up the pigtails, listening to Insane Clown Posse.
Come over to my parents' house and have dinner with me and my family. Tell me what you...
Okay. Tell me you like to be choked without telling me that you like to be choked. Yeah, any chick who wears that specific little fucking choker likes that type of shit, if you know what I'm saying. And I know this from experience. Yeah, she actually says in the caption of the TikTok, she ended up saying, I used to be a juggalette. You could tell that I used to be a juggalette in high school. I'm like, bitch, if you still are fucking listening to that shit and you're still fucking down for that shit, who's not to say that you're not a fucking juggalette still? So, you know what? I'm counting that. That's another fucking juggalo that works in the world wrestling entertainment industry. That's the dating game. You can find it on LimeWire. If you want to risk giving your computer a fucking hepatitis C. And if you can't find it on LimeWire, you can definitely find it on Kaza. Boy, I'm fucking aging myself saying those two fucking apps. Actually, no, Kaza will give your computer fucking full blown AIDS. But yeah, dude, fucking like that's funny as hell because and it reminds me like there was a time where somebody I think it was like within the last couple of weeks somebody ended up saying are there any yeah because I was talking about how fucking Golga and the Shockmaster are now going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame And I was like, there's another fucking, this is the closest to, Insane Clown Posse getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as we have a member of the Oddities, even though it's posthumously done. Earthquake, John Tenta, The Shark, Golga, if you will, being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame along with Typhoon / the Shockmaster. Okay? And I was like, somebody ended up saying, are there any juggalos that are in that are working for WWE? And I was like, yeah, the Hurricane. The Hurricane is one of them. Raven is obviously down with the Clown. You got RVD, you got Sabu. Fucking JBL, I posted that one. So here's another one for the record books, fam. Michin is a fucking juggalo. So if you ever go to a WWE event and you feel like making a sign, you gotta have Michin with a little hatchet man. It'll probably make her, fucking wet. Because this definitely made me fucking wet seeing this on TikTok. I don't know why this video lasted at least fucking 10 minutes long. I'd pinch her loopy ass and tell her, get the food! Yeah, then that was it. Like, it couldn't even fucking finish the 2 bars. But nevertheless, I was like, man, that is fucking dope. Obviously, like, a lot of people that have been down with the Clown that are now popular, it's like, it's starting to show, I feel. Like, there are certain people that you possibly could look at and be like, yeah, they were a fucking juggalo. Shane Helms was not one of them. I will say that. But, like, especially, like, whether it was him doing the Sugar Shane Helms' 3 count, or him being Gregory Helms himself, or the Hurricane, or Hurricane Helms, or whatever the fuck, I couldn't tell, but he is fucking down with the Clown. This bitch also down with the Clown, and that's dope as hell. But I guess when, you're dressed up like this, and you're doing these bathroom selfies like this, I think that should be a fucking dead giveaway. Alright, so the last Juggalo-related thing that we're going to talk about is the Bruce Brothers podcast, and that is a terrible fucking photo. You can, granted, it's like a fucking caricature, but I guess I downloaded a very shitty fucking picture of the Bruce Brothers podcast logo. Now, what enticed me to want to watch this episode, because I missed episode 1, and I could go back to it if I wanted to, but I felt like I needed to watch episode 2, and the reason being was because I was watching a clip of it based off of something that Bash the Dead Guy posted on his channel, Fuck Your Feelings, because he was talking about something that he somehow, in some way, was able to correlate with the whole thing with the beef and stuff like that. I guess, mitigating the beef, because that's how it came off the way that Bash was putting it up. And don't get it twisted. Bash is my homie, but sometimes there are certain things that he says that I feel like you really need to fucking put him in check. But I found that this episode is very interesting because I had to watch it, and rather than just watching just the clip, I watched the entire show, and the entirety of the show had to do with one specific topic. So I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Like, so far, I really liked this episode. Now, this episode actually ended up being about The Secret. Since I couldn't find a screen cap of this picture, that's what I ended up doing, was just screenshotting this. So we are going to watch practically the same fucking clip that Bash put out, right? Because now that you know what this episode is about, there is a little bit more context behind what was being said. So here's the clip.
All right, another way to bring more positive thoughts and positive energy in your life, and I know.
So okay, I kind of sort of lied. This is like the concept of the entirety of the fucking show. Okay, so he ended up what he did was he clipped out everything. He cropped out the part where he ended up saying something about forgiveness and all of this other stuff. And so, like this, on the other hand, talking about the concept of positivity, which is part of the secret. So why isn't Shaggy and Jay doing a podcast with one another? Like, if you think about it like this, okay? You have Jay doing his own podcast with Rob, and then you got Shaggy doing his own podcast with Manny. That's 2 revenue streams. And on top of that, Shaggy could be on the Bruce Brothers podcast. Jay could be on the Shaggy show. And, you know, they can still intermingle on their own shows, but that's 2 revenue streams for Psychopathic. Or 1 revenue stream for themselves. I mean, they did something similar, you know, hell, like, what I don't understand is, like, in a sense, they could possibly fucking bring back Psychopathic Live. You know what I'm saying? Hey, speak of the devil, what up, Bash? Now, don't get me wrong, Bash. I did say that you're my homie, and I'm not doing this out of spite, but I do feel like that what you ended up saying on your fucking video kind of needs to be put in check. I know when I know when somebody's trying to twist some shit. And I tend to do my research. Your fucking thing made me watch this fucking episode for an entire hour. But yeah, so what they're talking about on this episode is the secret. Okay? Part of this explanation, because the thing as a whole, the whole episode was about the secret. And I'll explain it to you as well as we go along with watching this video. Just as soon as Justin Kemple's shit comes in.
And by the way, I just want to say, fuck Crazy McCormick. Whack as fuck.
Shout out to Justin Kemple for that $1.99. I appreciate it. Love you, homie. You're gross, by the way, but love you. All right, so here's the podcast.
All right, another way to bring more positive thoughts and positive energy in your life. See, and I know some of y'all on this panel might not agree with me, but it's forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiving people. Like when you hold and harbor hate for somebody in your heart and in your mind, you're manifesting that hate back onto yourself. The only one you're hurting is you.
I don't buy that.
Okay, I know you don't. But listen, if you're focused on hating somebody, angry
that's
at
the
somebody,
ticket though, Robbie, if you're focused on it.
See, yeah, that right there, I feel like Jay already knew Jump was on the bullshit. No, like, I don't think that he was, like, if you watch the entirety, so that's what happens when I get super chatted, yes. Like, that pops up. And it's ironic that it pops up just as I'm talking about this. Now, watching the entirety of the episode, right? It's not talking about Twisted or anything like that at all. Basically what it's talking about is the fact that when you are solely focused on things that you hate, right? When you hate a motherfucker or hate a certain thing or hate a certain situation in your life, and that is one of those things that draws in that negative energy, you know, bad energy in, bad energy is going to come out, and bad shit is going to fucking happen because you are attracting it. Because that's what the secret actually is the law of attraction. When you think bad shit, you're going to get bad shit. If you think positive shit, you're going to get positive shit out. Which is why Rob was talking about, in general, generally speaking, about forgiveness. You can forgive a motherfucker for all of the bad shit that they've fucking done to you, just so that way you don't have to have that in your system anymore. You're not dwelling on it. You're not drawing that negativity. That's why people who live with their sister in fucking a single wide trailer that all they do is fucking talk about things that they hate, people that they hate, and then they fucking sit there in their sister's fucking trailer wondering why things aren't working out well for them. And so they sit in a fucking drunken stupor and say fuck Crazy McCormick and claim that he's whack as fuck. you know, or go on panels at all hours of the night, fucking talking nonstop, mad loads of shit on everybody and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality. Like, the only time that I think about certain people, but I don't hate them. And if anything, I feel very much more pity on a lot of people than anything else. But that was what he was talking about in the realm of forgiveness. Like, I forgive that motherfucker, and I forgive a lot of the other people that have fucking made life hell for a lot of us for the last 5 years or so on the internet, trying to talk shit about us and stuff. And so what I ended up having to do was exactly one of the things that Rob is about to talk about on this podcast, which was just take that situation, that person, and just delete them. You know, like, you have to fucking get that negativity out of your system. So what I did for the most part for like a good span of like 6 to 10 months, I just completely cleansed myself of a lot of those people that just would not stop fucking hating. And it's like, it made shit better because I wasn't dwelling on it. I wasn't dwelling on how it made me feel. I started feeling a little bit more positive about myself. Because I didn't have somebody trying to shove this whole fucking retarded ass dumb shit out of my fucking system. Anyways, yeah, so like they'll continue on, and we got like a 7-minute fucking clip, so we'll go ahead and continue on. And yeah, I'll probably watch maybe 5 or 10 seconds of it and then talk about it for 5 minutes. Because that's what I fucking do. That's called a review, fam.
Right.
That's the mistake.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, focusing on that. Like, oh, I hate that person so bad, right?
Yep.
And it comes back to the hater shit, too. I
Yep.
hate that person so bad. You're manifesting that hate back into you, onto you, because that's what you
Yeah.
focus on.
Like, take a
That's
look
what
at
you're thinking
Wacko's
about. That's
agreeing.
what you're
He'll actually chime in
visualizing.
on this too.
And the sad thing about it is the person that you're hating, they don't feel that fucking hate.
Well,
They're not. It's not like you're hurting them, projecting some kind of mental.
You're hurting
darts.
yourself. Everything you put out
You're
comes
hurting
back.
yourself. It's all reflecting back like a dark hole.
That's the point of this
to
whole
make
thing.
you feel negative, to make you feel bad, to make
Explain
you feel
this
sad.
though. We both hated our real dad,
Yeah, and,
but we
and
never had no long ass
Not-
conversations about how much we hated.
not anymore.
We never focused on it.
I did focus on it for years.
Yeah, and that could be something that, you know, like Rob talking about how he hates his fucking real dad, and he just sat there manifesting that negativity. And that could actually be something that could cause a ripple effect where he's just thinking negatively, and then like it could just be about anything, not just people that hate, you know? Like if you notice, like a person who initially hates on somebody, and he's right. It's like, okay, I could be getting hated on right now. I don't know that. All right. In a sense, it's almost kind of like maybe an ostrich mind, you know? But, you know, like out of sight, out of mind kind of shit, you know, like that ostrich syndrome.
And by the way, I just want to say, fuck Crazy McCormick. Whack as fuck.
Kyle Driver with that $2 super chat saying, F Wacko, can't stand him. He's a terrible artist. Now, I will agree with the fact that I'm not a fan of Wacko the Kid myself. However, you can take a look at him and you can tell that he exudes that confidence. He exudes that positive energy. And as whack as a fucking artist as Wacko might possibly be, dude has the the dude knows the fucking secret. He is able to apply it, and he is able to make something of a success for himself. Even if it's like those pseudo, and I'll say pseudo and use quote marks in the air with my fingers at the same time, those fashionable t-shirts that he brings out, which I think are fucking overpriced and stupid. I'm not going to buy him, but you know, we all know that somebody will, and he's already got it. He's already in his mind. Like, take a look at this thing. He's absorbing what it is that Jay and Rob are fucking talking about. You know, Jump is the best big brother, been coaching all of us through life for 25 years. And also, that's another thing too, is that Rob gives opportunities to quite a few ninjas that are out there, including myself. On 2 occasions, Rob has given me an opportunity to do something for for the fucking DCG con. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, and Jay as like, I think without Rob, Jay would probably not be on the right path. Like, he would be lost without Rob. So Rob better live fucking forever. But, and one thing I forgot was the context behind this, other than the secret. Because they started this episode off with talking about how the Gathering of the Juggalos is coming up, and there are ninjas out there that say, oh, I wish I could make it to the Gathering. You know, like, they blew it up, where it's like, it's my dream to fucking make it to the Gathering of the Juggalos, but they never take the opportunity to fucking do what they need to do in order to fucking go to the Gathering, and they just kind of sit there and wait for a fucking handout. However, the boy Blue did eventually make it to the Gathering of the Juggalos, and he was fed beer and drugs for 4 days straight, and he was happy as a fucking clam. But I guess he's like, oh, I satisfied my dream, so I don't have anything left. I'm just going to get fucked up on my show. Once again, that's not hate. I just feel pity on the motherfucker. Like a lot of people, you know. See, I saw him wearing a Panthers hat as a Buck fan, so we ain't got nothing to talk about. God damn it, Kyle. Quit being a fucking hater. Okay, so like now they ended up saying, you know, like when you know, like I don't you know, like I hate my dad, but like we don't talk about it on, you know, it's like they can hate a motherfucker, and I swear to God, like fucking Jay is an alchemical genius when it concerns this stuff. He can hate a motherfucker, but somehow figure out how to turn that energy around and alchemize it and make it a fucking positive thing. You know, he can take that negative energy and he can alchemize it. And that's another thing too when it concerns like energy and stuff like that. Like being able to take that negative energy that is surrounding you and figuring out a way on how to alchemize it, change it up into something positive. Hell, if anything, that's what Insane Clown Posse does with their music as a whole. They fight fire with fire, as Jay has explained before, where they just take the negativity that they see and they fight it with, I guess, equal negativity or something like that. You know, it's like they're talking about racist bigots and richies and pedophiles and all of these type of people that have wronged them throughout their entire fucking life, you know, and they basically fight fire with fire, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what Jay and Shaggy do with their characters in the music. You know, they're killing these motherfuckers. Like, for the longest time, I used to fucking argue with people about it's not the fact that ICP kills in their music, it's who they kill in their music. You know, it's bigots, it's racists and pedophiles and richy people and shit like that. You know, like those type of people. And you know, and it's like, if you really listen, you know, like they're abusive fathers, you know, like abusive fathers, abusive parents, abusive people. And it's like, they're giving people their just desserts. And, you know, the people who deserve to get murdered and killed are the ones who are getting in there. Of course, you know, wicked clowns being judge, jury, and executioner. But at the same time, it's like, morally speaking, what they're doing is kind of correct as an anti-hero kind of situation. And it's like, no wonder why, despite all the hate that they get, they've become successful in their own way, in their own rights. And then you got Wacko the Kid high on his own fucking synthetic weed. I swear to God, that shit was synthetic as fuck. Like, I smelled it. It's like, that is too strong for normal weed.
Focused on it, but
I never did.
Not anymore.
I think it depends on who you are.
Because I forgave, you know, it's like I realized at some point that when you hate on people, like Wacko was saying, you're just hurting yourself, man. It's like the only person that you're making miserable is you.
And that's what I was talking about before. It's like people that I had dealt with for the last 5 years. It's like the only reason why it would affect me, if anything, would be because I allowed it to. All right? That's the only reason why anything that any hater in the past has said anything that has affected me negatively was because I allowed it to. But the vast majority of what it is that they're fucking talking about, I don't know what his real name is, but it is Jeeves. You know? Like Jeeves from JCW. Fucking Richie Boy Briar Wellington's manservant. I don't know if that's actually kayfabe or not, but nevertheless. But it's like all of these people that hate, they really, like, the only reason why they hate is because they see you shining and they don't like it. It's because they're not shining. If anything, that's the only reason why anybody fucking hates. Is because they see you shining and they don't want to see you shining. They want to see you be on the same level as them. And I've totally forgot where I was going with this. Let me recap this.
When you hate on people,
Yep.
like Wacko was saying, you're just hurting yourself, man. It's
Yep.
like the only person that you're making miserable is you.
I don't buy that.
I mean, they're already miserable as it is. And I'm not saying this to be a hater. You know, like, I'm saying this as unmitigated fact. The only reason why people hate on other people is because they are miserable within their own lives and they don't like seeing people shining heavier than them, so they got to do something to bring down their shine. The only thing that you can do is ignore it. The only reason why people fucking hate, you know, like the only way that a hater is going to affect you is if you allow it to happen. I have for the last 2 episodes, I've had my show rated by people who were just straight dicks. And the only thing that they really wanted to do was to try to fucking bring me down to their level. And I didn't allow that to happen. If anything, I did what any smart motherfucker would do. Not just ignore it. If you can't, like, you have 2 options with this, really. You have either A, it's either A, you can figure out a way on how to take that negative energy and alchemize it into something more positive, or you can just straight ignore it. So, like, as an example, okay, I have a hater. And instead of fucking allowing him to say whatever it is that he wants to say and have it affect me, I alchemized it by turning it into a fucking super chat. So instead of him hurting me, his hurtful words actually benefit me. i.e., I'm getting paid off of his talking shit. And he hasn't been getting paid off of him talking shit, so I might as well. Especially if he's talking shit about me. You see what I'm saying? Like Jay, I figured out a way on how to take the haters' shit and alchemize that.
No, because it's just not the way I work, Rob. There has to be. I'm not going to sit up here and lie.
Right. No, I got you.
He's about to explain
honest
it.
about how I feel. When I hate somebody, and I only hate like 3 people. You know what I mean?
And I think that right there, when he said I hate only 3 people, I think that's where the homie Bash was just like, okay, Twisted and who else? Like Twisted and my dad. might be the possible ones. But he doesn't name names. But at the same time, Jeeves can smell what the VJ is cooking. Look at him. He's just...
Yeah.
But when I hate somebody, for some reason, I remember Mom used to say that all the time, Rob.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's bad energy. You're just hurting yourself by hating somebody.
Yep.
But that's not the way I operate. You know what I'm saying? Okay, like when I look at our real dad, my hatred for him provided me with karma. Because I didn't want to be nothing like him.
So, like, there were people in the chat, like, in the comment section when fucking Bash posted this. That reminds me. like a lot of people were saying he obviously doesn't know what karma means. And I was planning on saying this, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to save it for the show. I understand where he's coming from, what he's actually saying when it concerns him talking about karma. All right. So, like, oh, me being, me seeing how my dad was provided me karma because I don't want to be like him at all. I understand what he's saying. Maybe it's a Michigan thing. I don't know, because like I say shit that's fucked up or words, misplaced words or something like that. I'll be talking to my mom. My mom does the same shit, and both of us know what we're fucking talking about. Like insert dummy Hesser here, and we both know what the fuck we're talking about, even though we know that what we're saying is not the correct word. So karma is probably not the correct word here, or it's a misplaced word, but I get what he's saying. And the reason being is because of how he's fucking... It's not really how he's saying it, because I've said similar shit.
That's not the way I operate.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Okay, like when I look at our real dad,
here, I'll tell you what I
my
mean.
hatred for him provided me with karma. Because I didn't want to be nothing like him.
Yep.
And I got karma every time I realized how different I am from him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a bomb-ass dad.
And I've said the same thing. It's like, okay, my input on how to be a father to my kids was practically this. Take everything that my dad did and do the exact opposite of that. It's kind of the same mentality where it's like, if you want to be a successful YouTuber in the Juggalo world, all you have to do is just take a look at what the boy Blue does and do the exact opposite of that. Like, that's all you really have to do. And you'll be much more of a fucking success on YouTube. The same mentality and situation with, with me and my mindset on being a good dad was like taking a look at the elements that my father did and do the exact opposite of that, i.e., be a little bit more attentive to your kids, spend quality time with them, do stuff that it might not, like, figure out a way on how to share an interest. And I have interests that I share with my kids. Like, both of my boys are into video games. My youngest is into wrestling. I'm into video games. I'm into wrestling. My daughter is into anime, and I'm also into anime as well. So there are these correlations between me and my kids. Now, what he's talking about with like fucking karma, like the karma points that he's claiming, that he's basically fucking earning with all of this stuff. It's like he's deleting the concept of how shitty of a father his father was, and he decided not to let that apply to him. Because like I said before, the only way that a hater can affect you is if you allow it to happen. And the same thing with if you have a shitty dad. The only way that you become a shitty dad in the same sense as your father is if you allow that to happen. Jay didn't allow that to happen. I didn't allow that to happen. And I hope to God that when my kids fucking grow up and they have kids of their own, that they'll take elements of what I have done and apply it to the way that they are with their kids. And possibly the things that they didn't like about me, I hope that they take a look at that and they decide not to emulate some of the bad things that I have fucking done. And to me, that makes the most fucking sense. The karma he's talking about is like the positive flow of energy. Because, like I said, Jay has the capability to take negative energy and alchemize it and turn it into something good. And that's what he's talking about when he's like talking about the karma shit. Does that make sense to all of the fucking people who try to talk shit saying Jay doesn't understand what karma is? No, but he understands manifestation. He understands alchemization in this sense.
That gave me karma. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. Like,
which, by the way, karma is not just like a good thing. Karma is negative or positive depending on a situation. You can have negative karma, you can have positive karma. In this sense, karma is energy. Okay, there's good energy and there's bad energy. It just depends on how you apply it, positive and negative. That's really all that it is.
When he tried to come back in our lives, right? We both told him to fuck off. That felt good to me.
Here's what I'm talking about, Joe. Like, all right, I don't want to debate too long on this, but like, let's say somebody owes you $3,000, right? And
Who owes him
you think
$3,000?
about that all the fucking time. Like, you bring it up in conversation, your friends are tired of hearing about it. Man, that motherfucker, he owes me $3,000, and it's been like 10 years that motherfucker's been owing you $3,000. Do you think he's fucking stressing you about that $3,000? You're stressing your fucking self out.
I get it.
By wanting that $3,000.
Yes.
You're mad you never got the $3,000, and it's causing your blood pressure to rise.
But every circumstance, all I'm trying to say
You
is
gotta let it go, is what I'm
Yep.
saying. You gotta forgive. Just let it go. It doesn't matter. That $3,000 in the grand scheme of your life does not matter for you to harbor that, to dwell on that, to bring unhappiness into your life, to fuck your secret up.
okay.
Exactly. I mean, like, my best friend from high school, like, two of my best friends from high school and I, we all used to live together. And there was some shit that happened that caused somewhat of a falling out because I lost my job at that point. And because of that, like, one of my roommates ended up fucking leaving and the other one just stopped paying his share of the fucking rent until we got evicted, right? And because of that, like, I ended up having to ask my mom to fucking see if she could possibly help out. And so my buddy fucking owes my mom $500, right? And that was 20 years ago that this happened. Could you imagine how bad it would be for me if I held a grudge on one of my best friends for like 20 years because he owes me $500? You know, like, $500 in the grand scheme of things, it's like, yeah, on one hand, it's like, you know, what's mine is mine, and I would like to have that $500 back. Hell, I got another homie right now that still owes me $100 from fucking Super Gathering. I don't fucking dwell on it. It's like, maybe I'll make that maybe I'll get that $100 back, maybe I'll get that $500 back, but in the grand calculus of the multiverse, I don't really need that, like, $600. Like, that would just be bonus cash at some point, but it's not it's $600. And on top of that, keeping in mind that both of those I'm not even accounting for in inflation. Okay, with inflation from the last 20 years, I think it would be probably worth about $1,000 that dude would owe me. And even still, I don't care. On a personal level, I do not give a shit. You know, I might not ever see that $1,000, but in the grand scheme of things, I make enough money to keep myself satisfied, and eventually I feel like that there's going to be more that's coming in. Let me see what Sexy Rich fucking said. Rob is just trying to help him because, think about it, he has heart problems and he don't want Jay to pass with all that old negative energy, and Twisted would have the regret with should've and could've and would've. You forgot about the would've part too. But I don't feel like Jay is really harboring those negative feelings. If anything, like, Jay explains that, I believe he did explain, or he's going to explain, that he doesn't think about these people unless it's brought up in conversation. So in a way, that's him kind of in the sense of almost forgiving and forgetting. See, he tries to forget about that shit so he doesn't think about it and let it affect him.
If I thought that was true, Rob, I would have let it go to people I hate. Yeah. But I don't feel that. I don't even think about them ever.
Yep.
Ever. Unless somebody else brings them up.
You know, and that's something that's really different about you, because you almost get like an energy from, like, being angry at people, right? It's like, think of it.
Rob, you just described Joe's entire fucking rap career in that sentence. You just explained 30, like, you explained pretty much 30 years, almost 35 years of Violent J's career as a rapper.
Different about you, because you almost get like an energy from, like, being angry at people, right? It's like, think of it as like a berserker right? A berserker in D&D or whatever. A berserker, when they get hurt or take damage, they get stronger. Like somehow in your way of your thought process, it's almost like you get strength from people that did you bad, right? You get strength for it. It motivates you to be better.
Because I believe in things,
like,
and it instills my beliefs to not be like that.
All right, so Jay is a ticking time bomb. Personally, I don't think that his heart issue is much more of a concern anymore. Like there was another thing that I fucking took out of this just so we could focus on this clip. But if you watch this episode and literally watch the whole episode, like at the very beginning, they end up playing like a little trailer about a documentary that was made in 2006 called The Secret. And it explains what the secret is, which is the law of attraction and how it's applied and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Jay is always known to fucking crash out. He always fucking crashes out. Like, Violent J could come up, like, if Violent J comes up with a new fucking super group for Psychopathic, I swear to God, his name will be Big Crash Out.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be anything like that. So when I don't dwell on it though. I swear to God on everything. I've never sat alone and dwelled on shit people I hate.
You know, and I feel like that there's people who do that and think about me every now and again or something like that. Like, I'm very sure that but for 5 fucking years, there's a small group of people that would sit in a private Discord server and talk shit about me and my best friend and all of our friends and all of the people that we associate ourselves with. And that's something that a lot of that I've seen. There are some other people that are on YouTube that will do that. Like, I swear to God, like the way that some of these people talk about me and my friends and anybody else that I'm associated with or anybody else that they're associated with, you know, the people who have that mentality of I don't fuck with people who fuck with people I don't fuck with, you know, that, you know, I feel like that they sit and watch and they hate and they fucking dwell on this shit. And it's kind of fucking sad. Like a vast majority of let's say internet trolls, okay? And I don't put that term lightly because a lot of people tend to think, oh, if they're talking negatively, then they're an internet troll. We do a little bit of trolling. No. Like an internet troll literally spends their fucking day on the internet, going into forums, going on 4chan, looking at comment sections of YouTube videos, going into live chats, and their whole fucking sole purpose is to say things negatively to try to get a specific person in question to go down to their level and possibly start a flame war. Like, they are literally going out of their way to say fucked up shit in order to piss somebody off, and that's what gets them off. That's what makes them feel good about themselves because, let's face it, internet trolls have little to no self-esteem. That's an internet troll. An internet troll is not somebody who's poking the bear. Okay, that's not what an internet troll actually is, and I cannot stress that enough. I don't know what made people think that an internet troll is just somebody who, you know, he's just joshing me, he's just doing a little trolling. No, a troll will say fucked up shit, even if they don't agree with whatever it is that they're saying, literally to try to fucking piss off somebody else. And if you understand the game of what a fucking internet troll is, then you can do much better with shit. And it's funny because as I'm saying that, my fucking viewer count is dropping because y'all exposed, I guess. But still, nevertheless, it's like fucking, I swear to God, there are people that are in private Discord servers and there are people that are on YouTube in the YouTube Juggalo community that will sit and fucking hate. Like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and I don't even know you, but I hate your motherfucking guts. You know? Hate. Like, that's all they fucking do. Like, that's their job, is to fucking hate. And it's sad. It's pathetic, and I feel a great swell of pity for people who live like that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's never I'm sitting there, just steam shooting out of my ears. It doesn't work like that. I don't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so
You're both actually like saying the same thing though, right? Because like even though you have the ability to hate somebody, you never think about them. So you're never like doing the secret thing of putting that thought out there. You know what I mean?
He's right.
Like by just I hate them, but that's the end of it. You don't actually put in that energy.
No, because
this
I'm also
jackass owes me $3,000.
I'm also a go-getter in every aspect of my life. So if I hated somebody and it was tearing me apart, I would go get them. I would do something about it.
Yeah, like OG beatdown. But you know, like Jay ended up saying a long time ago, he's just like, yeah, I do hate my father, but I'm not like going out of my way to try to find him. But if I, you know, and the same thing with his essay, Lester Wool. He was like, I'm not going out of my way to try to look for this motherfucker, but if I do come across him, I don't care if he's in a wheelchair, I will fucking push him down a flight of stairs in that wheelchair. I will grab his fucking windpipe and squeeze and stare at his eyes until I see all the breath fucking come out of him. You know, like he has said and possibly even fantasized about things that he has wanted to do to Lester Wool. You know, there's your third person right there, Lester Wool. You know, like, but I'm sure that he doesn't fucking dwell on it anymore. He doesn't think about it. He just lets life move on. And in this fucking angle, does Jay look like he's rocking a fucking Hulk Hogan skullet? Or he's trying to grow one out or something? Like, what's going on with Jay's fucking dome piece there? Like, did his 8 head turn into a fucking 12 head? Like, shouldn't he be painting a little bit more, you know, higher on his fucking, on his crown? I'm just being a fucking dick. I love Jay though. You know, don't get it twisted.
I know myself. You know what I'm saying? And I would go get that $3,000 back, Rob. You know what I'm saying? If it was eating me alive like that, I know myself. But I get what you're saying, and I understand that's how it works on most occasions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I can't sit there and nod in agreement when I find myself feeling different about that. You know what I mean?
I just let it go, man, because for me, like, people aren't worth it. You know what I mean? People that did you wrong in some way or whatever, as long as they're not continually hurting me, you know, or my loved ones, I just let it fucking go. I don't give a fuck to spend time thinking about them. You know? It was like,
I mean, Jay was basically saying the same thing, but with different words. He's like, I don't spend the time and the energy thinking about the people that I hate. And here we have Rob practically saying the same fucking thing.
Continually hurting me, you know, or my loved ones, I just let it fucking go. I don't give a fuck to spend time thinking about them.
Wacko's trying to think about Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day because he's between two legends right now, and he's trying to fight a hard-on underneath the table. That's what I think. That's why he looks so excited, but at the same time, he looks stoned out of his mind. He's like trying to think about shit to maintain the boner that he's got sitting between the Bruce brothers. Ask Rob how he feels about Young Wicked, and we'll see if he stays so calm. Oh my god. I mean, the same thing can be said about Jay and Twisted, you know, especially Paul.
You know, it was like our dad recently, a couple years back, tried to come back into our life. And to me, I already kind of like forgotten about him. He's almost like a faded ghost or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't really exist. He isn't anybody I know or think about or care about. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know him.
Right.
So why would I want to get into his life? It's like he's already gone, erased
Right.
out of my life. You know what I mean? But at one time, I was mad. Like, I was, you know, when we were younger,
I mean, if we were mad, we would have said, yeah, we'll meet up with you, and then kicked his ass.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, back when we were younger, we were like, because I remember at one time our uncle was like, yeah, he was thinking about coming to the show, and we were like, look, you tell him if he comes to the show, it's beat down on sight. You know what I'm saying? So let him know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, that's the end of the clip. And like I said, you know, I don't feel like anything in this clip involving had really anything to do with Twisted. It was more along the lines of, like, examples of what the secret actually entails. So, the secret obviously being the law of attraction and how it works. And believe me when I say this, I've applied that myself, okay, on multiple fucking occasions. And it does, in fact, work. So how it works, excuse me while I set up the next fucking spot. Okay. I put it up on full screen for a reason, because I feel like you need, like I need your somewhat undivided attention. Okay. So basically how the secret works is like you literally, and this was explained on the show, and you can watch it you can watch episode 2 of the Bruce Brothers podcast on on the Psychopathic Records channel, and they'll be able to have like a 2-hour show talking about this shit. But this is basically what it is, okay? With the secret, with the law of attraction, basically you have the capability to obtain anything you want. Anything. Okay? It doesn't necessarily, it's like, it doesn't necessarily apply to wanting a specific person, but it can apply to having a type of person that you would want. Like, keeping in mind, there are specific rules to that because we also work on free will here. So, basically how it works is you want something and you place your order, all right? You think about that shit, right? You say that you want this specific thing. You throw it out there into the universe, like you're putting that positive energy, like you want this. And eventually you put it in your mind that that whatever it is that you want, you already have. You are already thinking about having achieved what it is that you want. But at the same time, be grateful for the things that you already have, right? For years, I'll give you an example. For years, I want to say, and if Kyle, if you are still here, I know you remember this. For years, I wanted to have a big video game collection. Okay? I started doing my collection in I want to say 2015, right? And y'all know how big I am on video games, retro video games, all that shit. Like, if you know who I am and have been watching me for the past 10 years, you know how obsessed I am about fucking video games, right? I love to play them. I love to talk about them. I love to learn the history behind the companies and things like that, right? Now, when Super Gathering was going around, right? And I'm only going to say their names because it's in reference to the fucking story. During the time that Super Gathering was coming around, the Bender Boys put up not a GoFundMe, but like a PayPal thing to try to earn money to get certain ninjas that we knew that were kind of coinciding with our crews. Like either the Bender Boys or the Juggernaut, to get them a gathering ticket or money to get them to the gathering of the Juggalos themselves if they didn't have a way to get there. And they even applied the secret in a sense to be able to get that money. Now, at the same time, I was like, okay, this is working out for them. So I put out a PayPal Live to try to get a video game called Little Samson for the regular Nintendo. And Little Samson is one of those rare games, so you know that they're expensive. Even if you're, as a collector, it's like, okay, it's a rarity. It makes sense why it's so expensive. At the time, it was like $1,200, right? That was my order, okay, to get that fucking game. And last year, at the beginning of 2024, I was like, I still didn't have it. And I was like, you know what? I'm making 2024 the year that I get Little Samson. And I got it. Like, at some point, one day, I saw that it was at 2 different fucking video game stores that I normally would shop at in order to try to get, a boost in my collection. I hunt these things. And so eventually, like, at some point, I kind of almost forgot about it. Like, I saw that they were in stores and, things have been actually working out for me throughout the year of 2024. And then something just hit me. And like there was like a little voice in my head that said, "Go to the store and get the game. Now's the time." Now, in a sense, now like to me, I was like a little bit unsure of myself. So I said, okay, I'm gonna call the store to see if they still had it because it's like a rare game. There are other collectors that live in town. So I called up the store and I said, hey, do you still have Little Samson? They said yes. I was like, hold it for me. I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes. I get to the store. I plink down the cash. It's now in my possession. I now own a physical copy of Little Samson. I put the order in. It took me a while, but I was actually able to fucking apply the secret in a sense to fucking get that. Another example that I had was when me and my baby mama fucking broke up, and that's when I started moving here, moved here to live in my mom's basement. I was driving a Chevy, I was driving a Chevy Traverse, right? A soccer mom mobile, and I was like doing Uber and Grubhub and Amazon Flex and all of these other fucking side hustle gigs, as a means to make my living. And at some point, I was like, if I were to get a Prius or one of those other hybrid vehicles, then I could save money on the amount of money that I spend on gas, and it would work beneficial. It'd be a little bit more environment friendly, which, I mean, personally, I don't give a shit about that. But I was thinking more along the lines of an investment. It would be an investment in order for me to fucking get something like a Prius or a Highlander hybrid or something, a RAV4, whatever, right? So eventually, this past year, 2024, here's the story. My mom backs up out of the fucking out of the driveway, hits the car that I have, right? I was driving a Dodge Intrepid that I bought for like $3,000, and I put another 3,000 in just to make sure that it would run correctly, right? When I first got it. It was, so like it's a fucking Dodge Intrepid. She backs into it, smashes out the fucking smashes out the fucking tail light and bends in the fucking bumper. So because it was on our property and it was my mom and that did it, my insurance I had I had the cheap ass insurance, like I had PLPD. She had full coverage on the other hand. So the insurance company that I went through and the insurance company that she goes through ended up working together, and they were going to pay for my damages. But then we take it to the shop to get it fixed. They said that the damage on the vehicle was worth more than the vehicle itself. And so they refused to work with it. So then we get a call from Progressive, we get the story, and Progressive ends up saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a check to pay for the damages. And on top of that, if you sell us the car, then we'll give you an extra bit on the value of the car. So it was going to be like a $2,000 check. And then, $2 and some change. Right? Fuck it, I'll take the check. And while I'm sitting there with no car in my possession, I'm like, I'm going to fucking get a car. Like, I will get a car by the end of the week. So I start looking up stuff, and I find a website for that's selling cars, and there's one car that's on there. And guess what it is? A Prius. And on top of that, it was $6,400. I was like, this might be a lemon, it might not be a lemon, but it's a Prius, right? I doubt that they're going to put a shoddy Prius on the road. Actually, I think that there's lemon laws here in the state of Michigan, so they're not allowed to sell lemons like that for fear that they could possibly get sued. So I go to the car lot. I asked them if I could take it out for a test drive. Runs smooth as shit. I'm like, okay, this is dope. Now, I told them on the website, I saw that they started it at 75. And then it went down to 70, to 7,000. then 68, then 66, then now 64. And I was like, why does it keep on dropping? And they said, oh, we keep on dropping it because we need to get this car off the lot. There's nothing wrong with it. We just need to get the car off the lot. What up, Side Alone? So I was like, okay, look, I've only got 5,500 that I can fuck with. So is there any possible way that we could work a deal? The guy said, let me talk to somebody. Let me sit you down at this desk. And he leaves. As I'm sitting on the desk, I'm on my phone again. And a different guy comes back and he's got paperwork ready for me to get this fucking Prius. The unfortunate thing, though, was that they would not accept the fucking check. I couldn't write a pay to the order of, whatever the fucking store name was. So I cashed the check. I gave them the cash. I maxed out the rest of my credit cards and drove off the lot with a Prius and took it directly to work. That's another thing that I had up in the air, up in the universe. What I've been wanting, manifesting, getting a new car, getting a better car. And I continue to fucking say, I'm getting a better car, right? But now I'm satisfied. I have a fucking Prius, so it's on to the next fucking thing. Okay, another prime example was I want to go to Juggalo Weekend because I've never gone to one. I want to go to a Big Ballers because I've never gone to one. Those are the two out of the big four that I've never gone to. And on top of that, I would like to go to all four back to back to back to back. That's exactly what I did last year and a little bit of this year. I went to the Gathering of the Juggalos. I went to Hollow Wicked. Big Ballers was in Ohio. I went to Big Ballers. And then there was Juggalo Weekend, which was in Massachusetts. And on top of that, it was offensively overpriced. And I said the only way I'm going to go to that is if I get an event at DCG Con. You guys remember that. You guys who have been sitting here on the fucking, who have watched almost every episode of the Crazy House since I came back with it after last year's gathering, right? You guys saw that. You guys heard me say that shit. I'm not going to go to Juggalo Weekend unless I get an event at DCG Con. And then suddenly, my homie Candy Bars fucking puts up something about emailing Psychopathic at this such and such email about event ideas. I put it, so I was like, all right, I put in my event. I get a call from Rob within the week. And me and Rob fucking sit down and iron things out. Rob, that was the example that I put up on there for Rob on two different occasions that Rob has actually hooked me up a deal with doing an event at both at this year's DCG Con and DCG 2. Both years I had an event. Okay? I might have also manifested something to put the first time I did an event to bed because I wasn't prepared and I wasn't feeling very confident about it. This time I did, and it went well swimmingly with flying fucking colors this year. So I was able to go to all four of the big four, and I did it 4 times in a row. All 4 in a row. That's another thing that I manifested. But I did that much quicker than I did with Little Samson or the Prius. Another thing too, and this is the last thing that I wanted to say as a prime example, okay? I ended up saying, okay, if you guys follow me on Twitch, I'm doing this thing right now where I am playing all of my video games from the least valued game to the most valued game. And I have over 1,000 games. And I have all of these rules and regulations and shit set for myself. So basically it's like, okay, if I'm playing a sports game, I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and then I'll do a little bit of it, and I'll play a bunch of whole other games in between, right? So right now, the first game that I played was Final Fantasy V, and then I beat that, and the next game was PGA Tour Golf for the Sega Genesis, PGA Tour Golf 2. And it's like you have in tournament mode, you play 4 rounds, and there's 6 different golf courses. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play one course, all 4 rounds, and then I'll move on to the next game. And then I'll play 4 rounds of the second course and then move on to the next game. And then I'll keep doing that with all of the other games until eventually PGA Tour Golf 2 is done. And I'm going to do that with every sports game that I come across, right? And I'm going to make sure that there's only one specific sport game that acts like that I'll be playing at a time. So eventually I could possibly be playing a basketball game, for, like a game or two, and then a golf game where it's like a course like that, and then move on to a football game or, a basketball game or a baseball game, and then move on to the next thing. Eventually, I'm just going to be playing a whole bunch of sports, including rugby at some point, or EA Fight Night, or something like that. Now, the whole goal is to basically get the money back for the games that I play that I've spent for them. So, like, as an example, Final Fantasy V for the Super Famicom, I spent $10.95 on, right? By the time I finished that game, I made $40. And I was like, this is going to be my route to success. This is going to be my route to get my Twitch back up and going. And I focus on this a lot. I focus on beating the games. I focus on earning the money back, making some revenue off of those games, and doing the damn thing. And this is what I was going to point out, because the manifestation shit is fucking happening. You want to know how things went for me in the month of March? Take a look at this. This is my dashboard that shows my earnings. $335.08 in revenue. Now, before that, I could barely break $20 a month. That alone is the revenue. I'm starting to slowly but surely fucking gain more viewers per show, which is going to increase my my average viewership. And if I can get that up to 75, then I will be able to make partner. And the amount of people that I have that will subscribe to my channel, I'll be able to make more revenue off of the fucking subscriptions than that. But yeah, like a combination of all of those things. See all those green things right there? Those are all from not ad revenue, but all of those are from bits that are donated. And homies have been coming in and fucking hooking me up with fucking retarded levels of bits and cheers on Twitch. Whatever I'm doing, it's working. Okay, because I'm applying. See, like, and this is the thing though. When it concerns the secret, the law of attraction, you think positively, be grateful for the shit that you have, but don't think that you can just sit around and expect something to fall into your lap. It's like what Jay said in the audiobook for Behind the Paint. It works, but it takes a lot of fucking work in order to apply this type of stuff. The longer that, and there are certain things that can happen where it's just manifested and bam, it fucking falls into your lap. But certain things like, whatever, whether it be like becoming a success on Twitch or on YouTube or things of that nature, which is why, like, whenever somebody comes into my chat, whenever I do this show and tries to fucking, like Josh on me over how many viewers that I have, I don't care. Like, I literally do not care. Somebody tries to apply how many viewers that I have concurrently on the show and applies that to how much of a success I am, and that's fucking retarded to me. It's like, that doesn't matter to me. Swill, what up? 89, I see you. Thank you. I appreciate the love, homie. You have to ask, is this going to take me closer or further from my goal? Not necessarily. You don't want to think that, because all the universe is going to think, all the secrets going to say, going to register is, take me further from my goal. You don't want to think that. You're going to be like, I'm going to be a success, and I'm grateful for where I'm at right now, but I know that I can do better. And then you have to apply that shit. You have to make it so it's like, you know for a fact. You have to know that you know that you know that everything that you're doing is going to happen. You have to know that it's going to happen. You have to believe that it already has. I mean, not necessarily saying that Delulu is the Solulu, but when you apply yourself and you think positively and you show that gratitude for the things that you already have, things are going to happen in a positive form. If you think negatively, all right, if you think it incorrectly, if you say to yourself, one day I'm going to be a YouTube success, like here's the thing though, you have to think about it present form. You have to think about it present tense, right? Instead of thinking about the future, think about it in the present. I am a YouTube success. I am a success on Twitch. I am earning money on Twitch and YouTube. I have the clout. Okay? Swills, you have to put that in your shit. I have the clout. I am clout. You know? I am the clout god. No, wait, somebody already said that. What up, Ninja with a pencil? What up, John Miller? I'm working on a handheld that's going to bring back floppy disks. It's called a zip drive, fam. That already happened. But but what I'm saying basically is like, okay, when you basically you put that out there into the universe, you put it out there that and let it fucking manifest. You believe that whatever is going to happen is happening, not going to happen. It's like, okay, you know how, think about it like this, okay? You ever go to a bar and you see that sign that says free beer tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? Like think about that. Free beer tomorrow, right? You go to a bar and you see that sign that says free beer tomorrow. So you come back tomorrow and the sign there still says free beer tomorrow. And then you go to the fucking bartender and you're like, what's up on that free beer? Oh, it's free beer tomorrow, right? Think about it like that. So you're constantly fucking chasing free beer tomorrow. All right? That's the concept. That is a failure concept of the secret. Manifesting so basically you're manifesting free beer tomorrow in the present. Which means that when you come back tomorrow is then the present. And tomorrow is the future. So, does that make sense? So, if you're constantly chasing tomorrow is in the future, and you're going to be constantly chasing tomorrow forever. No, you want free beer today, okay? Especially fucking Boy Blue. He wants free beer today, not tomorrow. He's not hoping one day he'll get a super chat that'll allow him to have fucking beer eventually. No, he wants free beer today. It's the same concept as the law of attraction. If you keep on saying one day I'm going to make a success out of this, or it's like one day I will become a popular YouTuber, okay, and you just manifest that shit like that, you're manifesting it incorrectly. You're basically fucking saying you're never going to do that, because think about it like this. In the concept of time itself, all right, time is an illusion, and outside of this planet, the time that we have constructed for this planet only works for this planet. Okay? A 24-hour day doesn't necessarily exist outside of the earth. 365 days does not necessarily exist outside of this earth. Time outside of this planet is absolutely timeless. The past and the present and the future are all the same thing. So time does not necessarily exist for energy. That's why they tell you believe in the present. Okay? Believe that what you want is what you have in the present and it will come to you. Be happy for the things that you have right now and be grateful for what you have and keep a positive lifestyle. You know, the one thing that they said on that show too was the fact that you need to make sure that you keep things on a positivity tip and don't focus on those people who are in the negative. You know what I mean? Have I ever been outside of this planet? No. But if you really think about it, like, no, this is the real talk, bro. Like, if you really think about it, like, the way that the Earth fucking rotates, the way that it does, a full rotation is considered 24 hours. By who? Us. People. Earthlings. Terrans. You know? What about the people outside? They have what about aliens and shit that live on a completely different planet with a different type of axis rotation and shit like that? Like they have a different fucking style of what our concept of what an hour is or a year, you know? Like they have a different form of an hour or a year. And so like outside of that, in the vastness, emptiness of space, there is no time. Okay? Outside of that, there is no time. Time doesn't exist outside of our planet in the way that we interpret it. So time is timeless. That's what I'm saying. And that's why instead of focusing on the future, focus on the present. Because the past, the present, and the future is all the same fucking shit. But if you think on a positive level, you will bring in positive energy, and that will bring in positive results. Especially if you're staying positive. I mean, and you have to legitimately feel it. The universe knows whether or not you're actually feeling the shit or faking the funk. You know, which is why like people like who I've mentioned before, like the Bender Boys and fucking Outcast Owls and Big Will and all of them. I don't focus on them. I don't fucking let what they say or do fucking affect me anymore. Because those are negative people with negative thoughts and negative energy, and those fucking people will, like they sit in a fucking circle and speak negatively about themselves along with other people. What kind of life is that? Like I want to be around people who are positive, that show that love, and so like, that positive karma, if you will. And that's the stuff that has been actually causing shit to manifest for me and to come into fruition. The Little Samson video game that they fucking joked about smashing, just for the sake of getting a reaction out of me. They said that shit like almost 10, like during the Super Gathering fucking era, like 6 years ago, something like that. The Prius that I wanted, I've got my fucking Prius. I'm working on fucking getting a house. Like not this year, but possibly next year, I should be able to save up enough money to get a fucking house. Because at least by the time the fucking tariff shit fucking goes down, I should be able to have a better way of getting a gooder fucking interest rate. I mean, like I said, like they said, like take a look at Joe and Joey and Rob and the life that they lived as kids and where they're at now. They put in so much hella work because they knew that whatever it was that they were going to do was going to be a success. Jay talking about his fucking wrestling and shit like that, and they became wrestlers. And now Jay runs his own wrestling company. But at the same time, they're also doing their rap career. Even Wacko the Kid, as much as you may or may not like him, the kid knows the secret, and he is an entrepreneur. Even though a lot of the stuff that he sells is way over fucking priced, people fucking buy it for some reason. I'm not gonna, but I know some people will. Kickchass died. But yeah, you've gotta stay positive with this type of shit. And believe me when I say it's hella fucking hard to stay positive with the way things are in this world. You know what I'm saying? We're surrounded by hella negativity. Lots of negativity. Now, two things that I'll fucking talk about when it concerns the negativity tip, right? It is a negative world, but you got to flush that out. Now, there are certain things that does kind of make this world a little bit fucking shitty. This is one of them. Now, somebody ended up fucking trying to bring this up. So I think it was no, not Chronic. It was Kyle. It was Kyle Driver that fucking brought this up, right? He was like somebody ended up saying something about the Switch 2, and they were like, apparently they don't understand what what the Switch 2 is providing here.
The Nintendo Switch 2 system can adapt to suit your situation.
Individually. So like like the thing is like, okay, we have the Switch 2 coming out, right? I'll say it, open world Mario Kart sounds and looks boring as fuck. I don't know, and like there was a guy that I saw on TikTok that basically said, look, unless I'm able to get out and jack a motherfucker's go-kart, I don't think I'd be interested in getting Mario Kart. And then, his other side said, I just pre-ordered it. Oh, you did too, huh? I mean, I like Grand Theft Mario, dude.
However you like to play. In TV mode, use the dock to play on a bigger screen.
And I love the fact that this time the Switch, the Joy-Cons are magnetic. I do like that.
In tabletop mode, place your system however you like using the stand. And
Does
share a
anybody
controller with a
actually
friend.
do that?
In handheld mode, play anywhere you go.
It doesn't feel the same using the fucking system as a handheld. To be totally honest, like I prefer to play it on here. Now, one of the things that they ended up saying, I don't know if it says it in this advertisement, in this trailer or not, but like basically the screen, like the screen itself for the Switch is going to be 720p, and then when you dock it, the game is then switched to 1080p. And actually, I think it can go. I think they said that it can go up to 4K, maybe, but 4K it's at 30 frames per second. With 1080p, I think it's but I think the frame rate is 120, but I could be wrong.
With these 3 play modes, you can enjoy playing whenever and wherever you want. Altogether,
No, dude, it's now 1080p non-docked, and docked it can go up to 4K 120 FPS. I don't know, dude, that doesn't make sense to me.
anytime, anywhere. Let's take a look at some features of Nintendo Switch 2 and how it's improved from the Nintendo Switch system.
Let's see. Bigger screen, same thickness. Oh, we all know them boys like their bitches thick. Thank you, sicko. Whoop whoop. Now, let's see. Yeah, as soon as I started playing this, man, everybody's fucking bitching about the Switch or saying something about the Switch. Yeah, see, 89 says 80 bucks per game. I'm seeing enabling all games to go up in price very soon. It's 80 bucks for digital. $90 if you want the chip, but the chip is only a fucking key. That's the shit that fucking sucks. Now, the funny thing is that I've been seeing a lot of people making comparisons about the pricing of the video games now versus what they were during the Super Nintendo era. And there were some games that were like $70, $75, $80, $90. But the difference between those, and I'm going to say this, is the major difference between the Super Nintendo games and the games that we have coming out for the Switch and the Switch 2 is that the reason why a vast majority of those games were so hella priced the way they were was because of the fucking chips that they needed to put on the boards for the cartridges. That's the reason why. What is the one thing, no matter how big or small, that I can do today that will make my life better / easier in the future? That would be to not dwell on the negativity. You know, like take whatever's negative in your life that brings you down and remove it. People, people being one of those things. Like you can't let people's negativity fucking get to you, and you'll think and be much more positive. Let's see. I'm probably gonna get the Switch 2, but I'll probably just play the retro stuff. See, like originally, I will say this: with that mindset, then I don't need a Switch 2. I'm gonna get one, but I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, take that, throw it up in the universe. I'm going to get a Switch 2. You know, like it's gonna fucking happen because it's me. Like, take a look at like if you pay attention, like I collected this shit and I have a whole bunch of old school games. The thing that I don't like about digital releases is the fact that those companies, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, they could take those games off of take them off the digital shelves at any given fucking time, and there's nothing you can do about it but sit on the internet and bitch. You know, at any given time they could just take it away, and that's including the fucking games that you can download and try to play. You know, like Mario Kart World. Let's just say that they never will, but let's just say for the sake of fucking argument, that it's not selling like they thought it would, so they're just gonna delete it and take it off the fucking shelves digitally. Well, if you don't have a physical copy, then you're never gonna fucking play it again. It's like, okay, the Impossible game for the PlayStation 3 never came out on physical. It was an indie game that came out on the PS3, and I've wanted it since it fucking came out, and I don't have the capability of buying it anymore because they removed it off the shelves. You know, they took it off the digital shelves. I bought a digital game for my phone one time, and it was called Shadowrun Returns, because I'm a fan of the Shadowrun series. And Shadowrun Returns was available on Android for $20. I bought the fucking game, and I've never been able to re-download it again. I deleted it off of my phone because I needed the space at the time, and then I went back into my archives to try to download it again. They were removed. So now I can never fucking play it. Unless I find a physical game on a console or PC Master Race, I'll never be able to play that shit. Certain DVDs and VHS tapes are in circulation that have movies on them that are never able to be fucking seen because they have, like, dude, take a look at the situation with Dogma, okay? For the longest time, the movie Dogma has not been available digitally because the Weinstein brothers are fucking douche nozzles and we're not putting it on there to spite Kevin Smith. Well, somebody was able to buy the rights off of the game, sold them to Kevin Smith, and now Kevin Smith is finally able to get that movie out on re-release and put it on Blu-ray, which hasn't, like, the movie Dogma has not been sold in stores on DVD or Blu-ray because of the Weinsteins since it was out on DVD for its special edition. And anybody who had that DVD for the longest time could sell Dogma on DVD for 3-4 times the value of a regular DVD, if not maybe up to a max of $100 for a Dogma DVD. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these video games that are available, they might be available on Nintendo Online or something like that through their yearly or monthly fucking program that they have for Nintendo Direct or whatever. Certain games are available on there, but other games are not. Like, you have your classics on there, like you have your Mario Brotherses, you have your Metroids, you have your Kirby's, but do you have Little Samson? Do you have Little Nemo the Dream Master? Do you have River City Ransom? Do you have Who Framed Roger Rabbit? For most of those, I would probably say no. They don't have those available for the Nintendo Direct shit. Like, you don't have a lot of the catalog for the regular Nintendo. They just have the ones that they know sell the most, because those ones are the more popular ones. But you don't have the more obscure ones, which are the ones that I fucking want. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I boast physical copies are the best. And the video game industry right now is trying to do what they can to try to eliminate physical copies, so that way they have more control over the games in and of themselves, be able to buy the shit digitally, which at this given point in time, dude, I don't have a whole lot. I have quite a good collection of PlayStation 5 games. I put an 8 terabyte SSD card in my PlayStation 5, and it's almost already full, right? And it's not just from downloading stuff off of PlayStation Plus. I have probably about 30 PlayStation 5 games, and this motherfucker is almost full, right? I need a 16 terabyte hard drive. At some given point in time, I need one of those. And chances are pretty good that the games, a lot of the games that you clamor for, are not going to be available on the Switch 2. You know? Like Rock and Roll Racing for SNES, I believe. Right. I mean, like, there's a lot of games that are not available on the Switch that should be available on the Switch, for their Nintendo Direct shit. So, like, you've got certain bells and whistles like this. Like, this is an attractive piece. Like, you got this thick boy, and then the magnetic fucking Joy-Cons, which is dope.
At 7.
And on top of that, like, they actually set it up so when you use the Joy-Cons, like, take a look at this Joy-Con. Here, I'm going to back this up a little bit. Bigger screen, same thickness. Okay, so, like, take a look at this Joy-Con on the right. You can see the, you can see they actually put the fucking... Okay, maybe they did that with the other Joy-Con already. I'm not sure. Here, let's take a look at my Nintendo. Okay, so, yeah, it's basically the same thing as this little doohickey. So, like, one Joy-Con has the ABXY, the other one has the up, down, left, right. Maybe they shouldn't do it like that. I don't know. Right, Saturday Night Slam Masters. That game was the shit. They probably don't have it. Look at this open world. Like, you can see, like, they got like a little world map right there. That's pretty dope.
At 7.9 inches, Switch 2 has a bigger built-in screen. Here's how that compares to Nintendo Switch.
7.9 inches. I bet she likes that.
The system's thickness remains the same.
Okay.
With approximately double the pixels compared to Switch, you can enjoy games in greater detail on the 1080p screen.
Okay. Up to.
The screen supports up to 120 frames per second, allowing for smoother gameplay in supported titles.
Okay, so it's not in 4K. Okay, HDR support, Vivid LCD. So yeah, that to me explains right here.
Approximately double the pixels compared to Switch, you can enjoy games in greater detail on the 1080p
Okay, so 1080p
screen.
1080p screen. Smooth gameplay up to 120 frames per second. Now, what I'm assuming is that it's 120 frames per second on the screen, but when it's docked, it's gonna fucking go down. Now, think about it. If you go 4K at 120 frames per second, that is basically the same equivalent as playing a PC game. Video games don't normally do that. They usually max out like large frame rate like that at 30 or 60 frames per second. So, like, as an example, you've got Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Those games can go up to fucking 4K if you're playing on the PlayStation 5 Pro or the PlayStation 4 Pro. You can play those games at 4K, but the frame rate is going to be lower at 30, right? Maybe with the PlayStation 5 Pro it'll go up to 60. But in those games you have the option of either having optimal performance or just, regular performance. So you're sacrificing one or the other in order to fucking do that. In order, like, if they do something with the Switch BIOS or something like that with the firmware to make it so even the docked version of the Switch causes it to go up to 120, then maybe that'll be a thing. But I definitely fucking feel like it's not going to be 120 frames per second on the television.
The screen supports up to 120 frames per second.
Only available in compatible games. Keep that in mind.
Allowing for smoother gameplay in supported titles.
Okay.
The LCD screen is more vivid and supports HDR, providing more contrast between light and dark areas of the images.
That looks pretty dope.
The all-new Joy-Con 2 controllers connect magnetically.
Okay. Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Strong magnets keep the controllers firmly attached to the system.
Now that makes sense because the way that they had them docked on here, having to do it like this was okay. That's fine, clipped version, but with the way that the way that people hold the system, like my kid holds the system by the Joy-Cons. He doesn't use his little stubby, chubby fingers for support on the fucking Joy-Cons. Like, there's a way that you have to hold this so that way they don't bend like this and fuck up the connectivity between the Joy-Cons. Because, like, there's a specific way that these things get docked. And see, like, I just docked that slides right off. Or my boy's Switch, on the other hand, the way that he holds it bent those in, so even if the fucking Joy-Cons are docked, they don't fucking work. So this might be a better way of fucking doing it. But how do you take those fuckers off is my question.
Detach a controller easily by pressing the release button on the back.
Ah, okay, it's the same shit.
The SL and SR buttons are bigger for greater comfort and control when playing with a Joy-Con 2 held horizontally.
Oh, did you notice that? Hold on a second.
The SL...
Okay, so, like, there's actually a fucking thing right there in the middle. If you see in the middle, like, that's where the connectivity of the Joy-Con is. Oh, wow, you can actually see the Y screws in there. So somebody's gonna mod that fucker. At least the SL and SR buttons are wider. Now, is it going to be easier for them to be pushed in? That's another thing that I'm wondering as well.
SL and SR buttons are bigger for greater comfort and control when playing with a Joy-Con 2 held horizontally.
Good.
The left and right sticks are now larger.
Okay, so let's take a look in comparison. So, yeah, they practically are, like, if you take a look at the Joy-Con joysticks versus the PS5 joysticks, the PS5 joysticks are a little bit bigger, but not by much. It's almost the same. Like, it's just a little bit bigger on the PS5 controller. Mouse controls using Joy-Con 2.
Each Joy-Con 2 controller can be used as a mouse.
Oh, that's what that fucking light thing was, right next to the SR button.
Opening up even more ways to play in compatible games.
Ooh, okay, so this looks like fucking Metroid Prime. Like, this is probably Metroid Prime. They might be remastering maybe Corruption, Metroid Prime 3. But then also there are other games that could come out for Nintendo Direct, like Mario Paint. So you can use that as a way to fucking play Mario Paint. Who's ready for the fucking the fly swatter game on Mario Paint? Or making that Two Girls One Cup song in the fucking music section, which I've actually seen that happen. What up, MC Wig Splitter? What up, Doe?
Both the
pretty
left
fresh.
and right Joy-Con 2 support mouse controls, so you can also play certain games using 2 mice.
Oh, dude, cripple racing. Dude, robot cripples. And it's a racing game.
Like this.
Oh, nice. Robot cripple sports.
By adjusting the audio balance between the ranges, sounds from the built-in speakers are clearer and more natural in handheld and tabletop modes.
There are no lines drawn, Swills. Quiet. Built-in mic for easy voice chatting.
It has a built-in microphone, so you can voice chat with friends anytime via game chat.
That's cool.
It also uses noise-canceling technology to filter sounds, so your voice will come through clearly.
Now keep this in mind. There's going to be a lot of FPS games that are going to be coming out. And on top of that, by the way, I don't know if it's going to say this or not, but I heard that they're also going to implement a camera on the screen. But if there's voice chat in this, oh my god. Anybody who used to fucking play Call of Duty online during the Xbox 360 era, oh, bro, it's coming back. It's coming back. 5-year-old kids that play that play Nintendo Switch are not ready for this fucking form of abuse.
Even if you don't have a surround sound system, games can be enjoyed with more immersive, 3-dimensional sound, as if it were coming from all around you.
Yeah, that's what she said. Okay. The British are coming.
Place your Nintendo Switch 2 however you like with a large, sturdy stand.
Well, that stand is a lot better looking than the one that we got for this regular boy. This regular boy has only got one on the side, like that little one John on the side. It kind of does the job, but not really, though. You know?
You can move it freely, like this.
Dude, awesome. Okay.
In addition to the USB-C port found on the bottom of the system, there's one on top as well.
Oh, dope.
It's handy for connecting a USB-C camera.
Okay.
Or charging in tabletop mode.
Okay. See, like, that is much smarter. And that means that there's going to be a camera going on right now. I just want to play OG Pokemon on this. Is that possible? It's a possibility, I think. I want to see if they're going to implement, like, DS or 3DS games. Because if they can implement DS or 3DS games, I'm in, like, the Flynn. I will rebuy all of the fucking games that I have on my DS and my 3DS digitally, just for the sake of doing it. And I can get my fucking money back, streaming the bitches. Larger,
Nintendo
faster
Switch
store.
2 comes with 256 gigabytes of internal storage, 8 times that of Nintendo Switch, for storing your game downloads, save data,
and Pornhub downloads.
And more.
Like I said.
Reading and writing data is also faster.
Okay. New dock, 4K
Use
support.
the Nintendo Switch 2 dock to connect to your TV and enable up to 4K resolution for compatible games.
Okay, there's that.
HDR is also supported in TV.
Right there. Okay, look at the bottom. Can you read the bottom part, Chronic? Read the bottom part of that, Chronic. Yeah, you can play most of them. Okay, you know what? Just in case you can't read that, I will read it out loud for you. Frame rate is fixed to a maximum of 60 FPS for 4K output. Yeah, you try to You tried to say that it was going to be 120 FPS on that motherfucker, and no, fam, I told you. Yeah, I have a bunch of games too. But yeah, but on the main screen, yeah, that makes sense because that's the maximum output for like even PS5 Pro is 1080 at 120 and 4K with 60 FPS. Like that makes sense.
E mode.
Like yeah, you misspoke earlier and in 4K you tried to fucking misspeak this shit. It's a good thing that somebody nerdier than you, who doesn't even know shit about Shinola, knows what he's talking about nevertheless. No, like 4K on that small screen? No, you don't get 4K on the small screen. You get 10K, you get 1080p, you get full HD, but you get 4K when it's docked. Fan ventilation for powerful cooling. Can't we just use water cooling now on a video game? Rather than just PC Master Race.
The Nintendo Switch 2 dock has a built-in fan that keeps your system cool. This helps keep performance stable.
That's good. Only compatible.
On Nintendo Switch 2, you can play Nintendo Switch 2 games, as well as compatible Nintendo Switch games. Physical and digital games are supported.
That's good. Now here's another thing though that they probably didn't make mention of, but this is a thing. When it concerns the fucking games that they download, it's the same essence. I mean, and I'm glad to see that Nintendo is deciding on fucking backward compatibility in this sense, because they did the same thing with the Wii. So the Wii can play fucking GameCube games. The Wii U can play Wii games, but it can't play GameCube games. And then they went back to, cards instead of fucking continuing on with discs. However, yep, WWE 2K25 is going to be on the Switch too. I'm pretty sure they're working on it right now. But, what was I going to say? So I like this in the sense of the backward compatibility, and they're doing it via a lot of emulation. I mean, that's basically what this is in a sense. Is it's an emulation station for just Nintendo shit. But back in the day when Xbox 360 came out, they said that there were going to be certain games that were already compatible, backward compatible from the regular Xbox to the Xbox 360. But with constant firmware updates would make it a little bit better, because more stability on the firmware would make it so more games would be compatible for the Xbox 360 from the Xbox One era. So little by little, they were able to apply more backward compatibility for regular Xbox games until their run was ended. And then they started doing the same thing with the Xbox One. So with the Nintendo Switch, with the Switch 2, it's going to be specific games there's going to be a small list of compatible Switch games that are going to be compatible with the Switch 2, but with firmware updates, there's going to be more games that can be added onto the list. At least in theory, that could possibly be true. But I do like how they're implementing the fucking magnets. I do like that. So like they're doing smarter shit.
The latest
this.
Nintendo Direct had fan.
Now here is somebody that that I found, and they're talking about the Switch prices, and they're not good apparently. So like not once in that advertisement did they say anything about the price of the system or the games. And currently, I am hearing that the value of the system itself is going to be $450 fresh out the gate. $500 you can get with a Mario Kart World bundle, but most games are going to be released at the $70, $80, or $90 markup. $70 or $80 for the games themselves, but if you want a physical copy, it's an additional $10.
fans of the company absolutely salivating. There's
Yep.
more info about the Switch 2 drop, a new Donkey Kong, a new exclusive From Software IP, as well as gameplay footage from the new Mario Kart, which is a tried and true method of selling a new console. Unfortunately, there was another surprise for fans.
Average reaction to Nintendo Switch 2 game prices.
One that they weren't perhaps too keen on. This manifest.
Yep, this is what it is right here. And there's some shit that really fucks up this whole thing. I'm sorry, but the price for the new Switch 2 is absurd. $449 Switch 2 console, which this, I think on the day of its release was $269 at $300 with a bundle. $80 per digital game, $90 per physical game. And on top of that, the physical game has only a portion of the game in and of itself. The rest of it has to be downloaded onto the system. And some of them don't even have any of the fucking information of the game at all. It's just a key. So half the time it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on with that? Now the final thing. Now also, let's see, $20 to $35 for Nintendo Switch Online membership. Now, is that monthly or annually? Because like that shit might have gone up in price, but so did the PlayStation Plus. So did the Xbox Game Pass. You know, and they put them in tier goals. So like the more that you spend, the fucking more that you get. So like with the like what is it, the fucking the PlayStation Plus premium package is like $169 a year, but you get literally everything that they offer. Yeah, so they'll really hammer the consumer with microtransactions if the game hasn't done that already, you know. And you have to pay for the instruction manual because they claim setting up your Switch doubles as a game. We have lost the plot is what all that says. Yeah, basically, dude, they literally just showed us how to fucking set up the Switch. Okay? Like, we just saw the overview trailer, 5 minutes, and we didn't have to pay $20 to fucking do it. You know? They just showed us everything.
As the new pricing structure for the Switch 2 and the games for it. The console will be sold for a hefty $449.99 USD.
I mean, that's adorable. $449.99. And think about this. Remember when the PlayStation 3 fucking came out? That was being sold at $700, but it also doubled as a Blu-ray player. If anything, buying a PlayStation 3 cost $300 less than new Blu-ray players at the time, because it was a whole new technology. Plus, we were in the middle of a new format war between Blu-ray and HD DVD, and they like the HD DVD thing for the Xbox 360 cost an additional $120, and fucking Xbox 360s were being sold at $600 at the time. You know, so like at the end of it, it was like you're still saving money by buying a Blu-ray player and buying the PlayStation 3, because it also, like I said, doubled as a Blu-ray player. You know, so like $449.99 is not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't shit.
At retail, the original Switch was $299 USD, so it's very clear that Nintendo is confident people are still going to buy their latest and greatest.
So it's like an additional $150? Okay, think about it like this. It's $150 more to basically get 4K compatibility or 120p on this screen, better controllers that won't wear out as badly as the original ones do, and you still get to play your Nintendo Switch catalog and new games. And you know, like, to me, I feel like $150 might be a little bit better. So yeah, at face value, $449.99 might look bad, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's no biggie to me. And not to mention, tariffs have been going around like in America, all across the world, tariffs have been fucking hitting up. And so, like, what, 10% tariff on everything from everywhere, just to try to even things out. And people are worried as to whether or not that $449.99 is going to be the hit. No, sorry, but not sorry. Nintendo's going to eat that fucking tariff. Because if they promised $449.99, it's going to be $449.99. They're just going to eat the tariff. Or do what they can to fucking help get rid of it. One of those two. They're going to work a deal with America. That's just how it's going to go. They've done this before. Because if they fucking say that we as Americans now have to eat the fucking tariff after they already boasted the price of $449.99, there's going to be people that are going to bitch about that.
Then there's the new prices for the games themselves. Instead of selling at $60 per game, they've hiked them up to $80 for a digital purchase and $90 for a physical purchase.
And the reason why people think that this is the reason why, people are saying that they think the reason why they're doing it like this is because of fucking Rockstar Games claiming that GTA 6 is going to be $100. Personally, I think that I think GTA 6 is done, but they're willing to hold on to GTA 6 until video games are worth $100. So they're just saying this shit in order to fucking jack the price up. Because we've got so much dumb, fucked up, weird, stupid shit that has happened before we got GTA 6. You know?
To put this into perspective, that's almost 150 bloody Australian dollars for a Nintendo Switch game. It's utterly ridiculous, and the outrage toward the announcement is totally justified during what appears to be a global economy heading toward recession. With tariffs announced on products across international spaces, it's probably the worst time to say that you're jacking up prices. The thing is, Nintendo...
I mean, basically, as of right now, Japan has got to be in a fucking stranglehold as to this because they already dropped the price. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, if I were to go into a GameStop and tell them that I want a fucking Switch, and they tell me that it's anything more than $449.99, I'm gonna be like, Nintendo said that it was gonna be $449.99, not $589.99. And then they'll be like, well, but the tariffs. And I'll be like, best I can do is $449.99. I will go full fucking pawn shop on those guys.
Fans have been putting up with this for decades, so perhaps they'll still buy the games despite the ridiculous and unfair costs. However, it's worth noting there are other aspects of the Direct that have inspired memes along the way. The production of the dedicated chat button on the controller has got the world buzzing, as it seems you can seamlessly jump in and start trash-talking other players. This is a big deal for Nintendo consoles, as previously you'd have to download an app to make it work, and it'd only work for certain compatible games. This new edition will bring the company up to speed with the rest of the gaming world, with a feature that should have been implemented years ago. This may be because Nintendo is stereotyped as being a little out of touch.
I mean, in a way, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, Nintendo, for the after PlayStation took over the fucking market, and then Xbox came in and they took over the fucking market, and Sega ended up dropping, Nintendo became third place. And they tried to, but the thing is for Nintendo, they have not really changed their fucking advertisement model since the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. This is where it's in my fucking wheelhouse here, because I know the history of this shit. Nintendo focuses more on trying to figure out ways on how to try to make the games enjoyable, the systems enjoyable, and fun for everybody. That's why we have the Power Pad, the Zapper, the Power Glove, the fucking U-Force, Wiimotes the way that they are, different controllers, like controller parkour over the last 40 years. Every controller is practically fucking different in a way. The only time that I've actually seen a controller that is similar to a previous controller is now the Switch 2. The Switch 2 controller is the exact same thing as the fucking Switch 1 controllers. The only difference is fucking magnets. But a lot of people think about this though. A lot of people are complaining about the fucking price of the games and everything. But at the same time, it's like I said before, games were like $75 to $95 during the Super Nintendo era. And the reason why that was because of the chips that were implemented on that. And think about this on top of that. Like, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to $70, $80, $90 games that are coming out for the Switch 2. Think about the inflation rate, okay? Now, a game that is worth $80, $90 now, during the Super Nintendo era, were probably worth about $45 to $50. Those games that were out for the Super Nintendo back then would currently be worth somewhere around $150 to $175. Now, would you want to pay for a fucking video game? Would you want to buy Mega Man X2 brand new, like as if it came out right now? Not the value that it's worth now, which is well over fucking $200, right? But would you want, like, on the day of its release, would you want to buy Mega Man X2 or Mega Man X3 for that same price that it's available now? For like somewhere between $150 to $200. Would you want to do that? Like, the game just comes out and it's for the Switch 2. Now, all the other games are like $80, $90, but Mega Man X2 or Mega Man X3 is like $200. Would you buy Mega Man X2? Yeah, Batman Returns for the Super NES was $90, and that game was shitty, you know? The biggest thing that gets me is how many shitty blog games will be pushed for $80, $90 and eventually $100 across all consoles. Right. I hear you guys 100%. My only point is that we can all agree that all games are created equal. Yeah, dude, like there's a huge difference. There's a huge world of difference between like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Squirrel with a Gun. You know, like there's a huge difference between the two. And I bought Squirrel with a Gun for like $20. I bought Final Fantasy VII Remake for like $70, you know? But also on top of that, there's like so many games that come out that are micro-transactioned the fuck out of, and additional DLC packages and all that other shit, which increases the values of the games themselves as well, you know? So like personally, I don't like the idea behind certain games. Like if I could think of a fucking price for video games to be all across the board, it would probably be $45 to $50. And then having additional DLC coming in would make it make sense. You know, because there were some games that would have to eat the cost and some games that would benefit from it. Like there was a point in time, once upon a time, where all the games, didn't matter what game came out, it was like $35 during the regular Nintendo era. It's like 35, and then eventually they were slowly, you know, because of inflation, they were priced up to $40, so that way they were the same value as the $35 games from back in the day. But yeah, anyways.
Through pricing and features, as they do hold a monopoly on some of the world's most famous games, and as such haven't had to innovate or improve as quickly.
Right.
In short, the latest Nintendo Direct is implementing equal parts pleasure and pain for fans, as the arrival of a brand new console and games is absolutely welcome, although the accompanying price tags certainly are not, given the cost of living crisis and the potential for global recession. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next?
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong though. I'm trying to see the benefit of the doubt when it concerns the prices, but I do believe that these prices are absolutely fucking insane. Like, to generalize these fucking video game prices to be $80, $90, when during the PS5, you know, like during the promotions for the release of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, they already fucking changed the price of those games an additional $10. So now Nintendo is practically going, we're going to do it again. Because we have Mario, we have Zelda, we have Metroid, we have Kirby, we have Earthbound, we have Mario Kart, we have fucking Smash Brothers, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like that's their mentality. Is like, okay, we have, like this guy said, they have the monopoly on some of the most famous and most popular gaming franchises, and Nintendo can do it because they said fuck you. But it's really sad though, because like at the same time, it's like, remember the advertisements for the Nintendo Wii? It was like two very nice Japanese guys, we would like to play, and then they would play Nintendo with a family because that's their market. That was their marketing strategy, and it was the guy who, and it was being run at the time. At the time that it was being run by like the guy who made Nintendogs, and and I think, yeah, it was the guy who owned Game Freak, the CEO of Game Freak, and he became the director or president of Nintendo Incorporated, and he was like the chillest, nicest fucking guy. Really cared about the fans, really cared about the consumer, and he tried to make everything as good for the consumer as he possibly could, and then he fucking died of cancer or some shit. And then it was taken over, and I guess that the person that fucking runs it now is just like a greedy scumfuck. That's what it feels like. It feels like he's a greedy fucking scumfuck. It makes me wonder, how does Hal Lieberman feel about this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's terrible. It's terrible to see this type of shit. Because I do feel like it is a sense of greed. It's not where the market is going, but they're forcing the market to become this. And if we're in the middle of a global recession and everything is about to fucking crash, they're probably just going to try to get their money as best as they can before the said market fucking crashes. That's my thoughts on it. And who's the person that's going to get fucked? Us. But the only difference, though, is that, well, their major franchise games are going to be like having a fucking $80, $90 price tag hanging over our heads. But at least they can't fucking bump it up, otherwise they would look like assholes trying to make us eat the tariff. And speaking of that, this is the last topic of conversation that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, in addition with the microtransactions within the game, the profits for them will be by definition endless. I mean, dude, fucking Rock Band pretty much has that fucking market out there because they constantly are putting out fucking DLC for that game. You want to know how much money I haven't invested in Rock Band alone? Hold on a second. I'll pull it up. On Rock Band, I have probably... Let me see. Whoa. Yeah, on Rock Band alone, in DLCs, I have over $200 invested in Rock Band. Just Rock Band. And that doesn't even hold a candle to how much information that they have on Rock Band alone. Yeah, or as we've heard before, buy or buy. Yeah, that happens. All right, so we're on the last segment of the show. And this is usually the part that, I don't know, is usually either good or bad, depending on your perspective on things. Because, I like to talk about fucking politics, because I try to be worldly. I've been waiting on your word on the tariff drama. This is going to happen. So, this past Saturday, all across the fucking country, we ended up having this hands-off thing that happened. And part of it does have to do with the tariffs. And personally, when it concerns the tariffs, I disagree wholly on these people, on these hands-off people that fucking basically did this protest. And to my surprise, by the way, I might as well add this, I'm surprised that it wasn't as peaceful as I thought it was going to be. And when I say peaceful, I mean that in jest. because like I know that everybody has their fucking has their thoughts on all of this political shit and stuff like that. I'm just putting out my perspective on there. I'll respect your opinion on it as long as you respect mine. I always fucking say that about anything. Even the fucking twisted ICP drama, like even those politics, as long as you respect my beliefs on it, you don't have to agree, but don't try to fucking be like, oh, you're a Yahtzee because I fucking, disagree with you. Because you're just diluting the word. But anyways, yeah, so this is one of the flyers that they had for the hands-off protest that happened all across the world. As a matter of fact, I'll show you the map. This is the map of the all these little bubbles are all of the fucking places that were hit up on protests, mostly across the United States, all throughout all of the fucking Hawaiian Islands, little spots here and there in fucking Alaska, one in a couple in Mexico even. And then you've also got some in Spain, some in France, one in the what is that, Britain, a couple of these other spots in Europe. Notice how they don't do anything in fucking Ireland. They're too drunk to care. Fuck you, I'm Irish. Let's see, a lot showed up in my town to protest. I just didn't understand what they were protesting exactly. Personally, I don't even think they understood exactly what it is that they were protesting. The only thing that I feel like that they were protesting, they say all of these things, okay? Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, because they think that Trump and Elon Musk are trying to do something with that, like trying to get rid of it all. And it's like, look, they're trying, like, what the fuck would be the point in saying we're going to take all of your Social Security money for our own when it's already plummeting, okay? Within the next few years, so if Social Security goes the way that it's going to be gone, okay? Because of the way that they were fucking doing shit during the last administration. If things didn't change, Social Security would have been gone because a vast majority of that money was put into having illegal immigrants stay here. He doesn't want to get rid of Medicare. He doesn't want to get rid of Medicaid because people need those, and that's obvious. He just doesn't want people bucking the system. Okay? This I thought was funny. Our jobs. They took our jobs. They took our jobs. Hold on a second. They took our jobs. They took the jobs. Idiots. No, they're not taking away our fucking jobs. You want to know what the tariffs are fucking doing? Because they think that the tariffs are going to make things so much worse. He put 10% tariffs on every fucking country and every fucking island, and the idea was basically to match their tariffs with ours. Okay? Trying to match our tariffs with theirs. Do you know that we are paying 267% tariff on milk from Canada? Like there's so many. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, for that, fuck you, Ninja with a pencil. I love you, but fuck you. 267% tariff on milk coming in from Canada. Okay, look, your primary exports are fucking syrup, Tim Hortons, hockey, and Terrence and Phillip. Okay? We don't need your fucking milk, especially at 267%. There's so many fucking different things that are being tariffed at astronomical prices because everybody knows that America is the number one consumer for fucking things. We are a capitalist country and we love to capitalize, okay? We like to this is the most American fucking thing is consumerism and buying things. As a matter of fact, the bald eagle should not be our national emblem. As George Carlin once said, it should be a big bowl of macaroni and cheese. A big bowl, because Americans really like to have everything supersized, king size, super jumbo. All right. Now, the idea behind the tariffs is basically to be like, look, all across the world, you want to work with us? That's fine. But if you want to fucking milk us for everything that we have, fuck you. We're going to fuck you back. Okay? And guess what? The tariff thing, the whole idea behind the tariff thing was to basically match or to have everything brought drastically down to zero. Could you imagine if America and every other country that works with us was a 0 for 0? We'd be giving away things and they'd be able to sell them at a fucking nominal price rather than, and the same thing for us. Could you imagine if Japan was like, okay, we're going to get rid of every fucking tariff that we have just so that, just so America doesn't tariff us. All right? Because in Trump's mind, tariffs are the most powerful fucking tool that he has with negotiating with other countries. You know that little thing that's going on with TikTok? Well, he said that he would be willing to work with different tariffs with China so that way we could have TikTok back. Is it legal? I don't know. It's a possibility that it's not, but it's also a possibility that it is. It's a bargaining tool that he is fucking using in order to try to make things better for America so we get to keep our money and less money is being taken out of our country. So we don't have to print more and then increase the inflation rate. If anything, this is going to make it so we print less money, and then that'll cause the inflation rate to go down. Stocks will probably even out. That's another thing that happened was the stock drop. And that's the one thing that they were talking about with our wallets. Okay? Like they said, our wallets. Because, and I've been listening to people who are actually experts at this shit and do this stuff for a living. Like older millennial on TikTok, that's what he does for a fucking living is financial advice. And he was talking about he understands what the tariffs are for. So if you think about it, here's the thing, okay? Like let's say we were talking about Nintendo just now. They marked the price at $449.99 American, okay? So if they don't work with these tariffs, then they have to eat that 10% tariff. If they work it out, then guess what? We could zero out our tariffs with Japan, and Japan could zero out their tariffs with us, and $4.99 to them would mean more money for their fucking company. That would fucking help out. And then on top of that, the other bargaining tool when it concerns our, taking our gerbs, okay? Do you have any idea? Like here's an example. Nike, okay? One of the most popular fucking shoe brands in America. It is an American brand, right? You know how many factories that they have in America? Not very many, if at all any. You'd be lucky to find an actual Nike factory in America because after sometime in the 2000s, all of the factories have been put in Vietnam. Okay? There are 450,000 employees that are making shoes in Vietnam, and they are lucky if they are able to make $1 or $2 a day making $250 shoes. Do you really think that those shoes should actually be worth $250? No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't even be worth $150. At the most, those shoes should be worth $100. But they have people, they moved all of their factories over to Vietnam so that way they could maximize their personal input because it would cost them less money for them to build the factories in Vietnam, have people work for $1 a day. Okay, so they are literally spending fucking $450,000 a day for somebody to work 8, 10, 12-hour shifts over there to make $7 American a week. And God only knows if they're actually adults. There might be fucking children. I know that there are some companies that have their factories placed in areas where they're actually forcing children to fucking work. Okay? I just don't know which ones they are. But nevertheless, $450,000 a day being spent by Nike to pay these fucking people And then they have these tons of fucking pairs of shoes shipped back to us for a smaller tariff rate. And then they fucking sell the shoes here in America for $250 each. And people are willing to pay for those fucking shoes. Jobs overseas enabled the highest profit margins imaginable. Right. Now, this phone, Samsung phone, I can guarantee you this is not worth $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Canada talks mad trash about how peaceful and hippie-ish they are. They never point out the fact that Canada has the best wall ever. America. Well, if there's anything that America is good at, it's building a wall. But yeah, so like, who's the one that's fucking up our wallets? Okay, it's not fucking Trump and it's not Elon Musk. It's the fucking corporations that are fucking over the company. You know, it's these mega global conglomerate corporations that are fucking us. Okay? Like, literally, do they not understand the concept of this shit? Elon Musk is not getting paid for doing the shit that he's fucking doing with the Department of Government Efficiency. He's not getting paid for this. Okay? And they want so much to have Elon Musk out of this shit. You know, he's only got like 20 some days left of doing what he's fucking doing. It's a temporary job that he's only doing for 100 days or 120 days. So he's about 20, 30, 40 fucking days away from being done with his fucking job. And then you still have to deal with Trump being president. And I think that what Trump is doing is going to fucking take money out of our wallets because we're going to have to eat the fucking tariff. No. Like, basically, at this point, it's like what he's doing is he's using the tariffs against all these other countries, including the one that only has penguins on it, to fucking bring those factories back to America so that way America can get more fucking jobs because the unemployment rate is fucking insane. Take a look at how many fucking homeless people we have. We have shanty towns all over California. People like that could be working and they can't because certain areas in America are deemed unaffordable to some of these people. People are getting priced out of their homes or kicked out of their fucking homes. Interest rates for homes is through the fucking roof. Egg prices are like $9 a fucking carton. It's insane. Okay, so they want to fucking talk about our bodies. Like, okay, look, that's like the abortion thing. This is a good thing what they did with Roe v. Wade. They still haven't seemed to figure that out yet. It's not a federal issue anymore. The rights to your bodies are now based off of state by state rather than the government. Okay, so each state has the capability to fucking vote for it. Okay, so if you live in a state that that they're voting on on abortion rights as to whether or not abortion can be illegal in that state, well, vote for it. Okay? And then in that case, majority rules. And if you don't like those rules, change the state that you live in. Okay? Or shut the fuck up. Like that, simple as that. Fair elections. Oh, gee. We didn't we talk about this like 5 fucking years ago during the last election when at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, all of a sudden Joe Biden somehow got 70,000 fucking votes, enough votes for him, or 45,000 votes in specific states, which was enough for him to fucking get the presidency. Like, it just magically fucking happened. Like, all these different votes, like 700,000 votes just came out of nowhere at 3 in the fucking morning. Yeah, Trump is implementing really a 5-year 10 plan to bring jobs back, to make America less reliant on Europe and the Far East and Asia, and putting all of those factories in Asia. Let's see, our personal data. Motherfucker, like, once again, this goes to the Elon Musk thing, auditing the Social Security office and the IRS. Motherfucker, I can guarantee you, anybody that has PayPal, Elon Musk already has your fucking Social Security number and knows your fucking information because he owns PayPal. Okay? He created or helped create PayPal. Okay? And not to mention, Aren't these the same motherfuckers that in a tizzy ended up fucking joining Red Note, a Chinese based fucking app that was very, very similar to fucking Lemonade? It was like their version of Instagram. And those motherfuckers ended up joining Red Note, which by joining Red Note, you agreed that you have to apply to the policies of their communist fucking ruling. So, and on top of that, they have the capability of checking your personal data off of your fucking phone, which I'm pretty sure they already have information for anyways. I don't see these bitches bitching about Mark Zuckerberg selling all of their information to fucking China, which is why they get so many fucking things of advertisements for Wish and Temu. Which, by the way, those are also Chinese-owned apps. Same with Shein. And all of these store apps that they buy their shit from are also Chinese operated and owned. So what are you bitching about with Elon Musk having your personal data as opposed to China, a communist country, having your fucking personal data? Did you not think about that, you dumb motherfuckers? Public lands, I don't know what the fuck that's about. Veteran services, since when does anybody actually give a shit about our fucking veterans? Like, seriously, like, there are, like, I would say, if anything, the fucking MAGA people care more about veterans than the Democrats and the libtards do. You motherfuckers are the Democrat motherfuckers are the very same reason why we have so many homeless fucking veterans. We care about our fucking veterans. I'm sorry, but not sorry. And I have a good chunk of people in my family who are in the military or veterans. I am so proud of those people in my family. As a matter of fact, Jump Steady is a veteran, and I care a lot about him too. Cancer research. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about with that? Cancer research, we should have, like, with the amount of money that's been poured into cancer research already, we should have 7 different forms of cancer cures. And we don't. But think about this. It's Big Pharma that actually could have the cure for cancer, but Big Pharma knows that there is more money in the remedy than it is in the cure. Because people will constantly come back for that expensive-ass chemo treatment rather than having a fucking pill that could cure cancer or some injection that could cure cancer, or there's more money in the fucking remedy than there is in the cure. How is that Trump's fault? That's been a secret to everybody for fucking decades. I don't know how that's Musk's problem. Okay? NATO, don't know what the fuck they're complaining about NATO about. Oh, the fact that that Trump wants to exit America from NATO. The reason why he wants to exit America from NATO is because NATO expects America to be the world police. Because if there's anybody military-wise that can fuck some shit up and make things good for other countries, it's America. Okay, so by telling NATO to fuck themselves and putting the tariffs on everybody, including our allies with NATO, it's much easier to say, no, you want our help, you have to start putting in more money, because we've been putting more money into NATO and all those other, and the United Nations and shit like that than fucking everybody else has. Or maybe it's the fact that we as America, we don't want Ukraine as a part of NATO, because NATO has already broken the fuck, like the United Nations, like the European Union or whoever the fuck, like, Ukraine wants a part of that. That's why Russia fucking attacked them in the first place, because the EU keeps on trying to fucking break the fucking treaty that they had with Russia. Russia doesn't expand their country. The European Union doesn't expand themselves either. And every once in a while they put their fucking toe in the water and see how far they can reach out to other nations to try to make it a part of the EU. And fucking Ukraine is another one of those that wants to be a part of the EU or wants to be a part of NATO. And Russia's like, nah, fam, if we can't expand our shit, then you can't expand yours. And they're just like, all right, fine. Well, I'm just going to fucking take Crimea. All right, well, fine. Fuck you. And then they attacked Ukraine, and then Ukraine wants to act like that they're the victim. Okay? So how is that Trump's fucking fault? Trump is trying to create a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine. So you want them to stop so that way they continue to go to war and eventually Ukraine gets fully fucking eradicated and we're not able to listen to any more new Ginger albums anymore? Is that what you want? Oh, fuck that. I want to listen to more Ginger. I like Ginger. That, like, I like that band Ginger. I want to hear more music from Ginger. So, like, basically the libtards don't want fucking more Ginger. They want war. They want war because Trump wants peace. How fucked up is that? The fucking party of peace and love wants more war. That's how I'm looking at it. Let's see, consumer protections. What, the tariffs? Bro, I already explained the tariffs. Clean air, clean energy. Well, you really are sending mixed signals to the fucking country about having clean air and clean energy when you're setting fire to Teslas. Like, it's already bad enough, like, all of the fucking shit that comes off from burning a fucking car to bits, but also it has minerals and metals that are toxic to the environment when you set them on fire, you dumb sons of bitches. So you're pretty, like, so how is that Trump's fault? How is it Trump's fault that other people are creating domestic terrorism by setting people's personal property on fucking fire? Schools and libraries. Well, like that once again goes to the whole concept of Trump is going to take free lunches from kids. I already said this on TikTok. It really doesn't make sense how you can fucking bitch about that when at the same time you don't care about having fucking children. Okay, like you want your abortions, but you also want the kids who are currently alive to not have fucking kids. I'm sorry, but if you're complaining about school lunches, then you can't really complain about abortions. Okay, especially when you're basically using abortions as a form of contraceptive. And Trump's not taking fucking school lunches away from kids. And what's the problem with libraries? You don't care about free speech. You're fucking trying to ban people on TikTok for being Trump supporters. And you're also trying to say, okay, well, like this type of fucking literary shit, like, you know, books like 1984 or The Catcher in the Rye or fucking like who's the ones that are banning books? Okay, like personally, I want free speech. I want to be able to say and feel however the fuck I want, and I want you to be able to say and feel whatever the fuck you want. We don't have to agree on what we're saying, whatever the fuck we want on, but I want you to be able to say whatever the fuck you want, just as long as you don't try to censor me. You have any idea how many fucking people got censored for liking Trump during the fucking first term? So many fucking people on YouTube were quieted because of how fucking much they wanted to show their appreciation for Donald Trump. And if you weren't, you got fear-mongered. Just like this shit. This is fear-mongering. Or if you were in support of Trump, you were a xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, Nazi, Yahtzee, fucking bigot, and all this other stuff. And they're doing the same thing to fucking Elon Musk because it didn't work with Trump. LGBTQ rights. You got them. It's just the fact that we don't want people to fucking try to convince and indoctrinate their children into believing that they are something that they aren't. When you're 18 and you figure out the world on your own, when you're independent with the world, then you can go ahead and be a dude with a dick and a skirt. But until then, leave the fucking children out of it. That's all that we want. Like, and the whole fact is, like, look, biologically speaking, males with fucking testosterone hormones are going to be a little bit more athletic than women are. And there's some women who ended up, there's this one chick I saw who ended up saying that like being in sports helped her learn certain fucking skills and shit, and so she doesn't understand why competing against men would be any different. Okay, bitch, you played basketball, play against LeBron one-on-one. See who fucking wins. Okay? Let's have LeBron James identify as a chick for one fucking day so he can play up against you in a game of one-on-one and tell me the chances of this woman beating LeBron James. Okay, even the most famous WNBA players cannot beat LeBron James. He will be breaking ankles left and right. Did you see that report about the chick that refused to participate in that fencing championship because her opponent was biologically male? And it's this controversy. How? Shake my head. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the fucking chick who fucking was in boxing in the Olympics and shit like that. You know, like when I was a kid, there was pee-wee basketball and it was all ages. There were girls that were actually better than me at basketball. I'm not gonna fucking front. But like as you get older and hormones start to kick in a little bit more and you start to, you start to bulk out as a male, your shoulders start to broaden and you get a fucking bigger dick and chicks get titties and fucking, stop playing with Barbie dolls and become Barbie dolls themselves, ironically. There are some chicks that you could just tell are built for fucking softball, okay? But I don't think that I'm going to see some of the softball playing chicks from my high school playing in the MLB anytime soon. And not to mention, they have a league of their own where there's no crying in baseball. But nevertheless, it's like, okay, look, your LGBTQ rights that you're fucking bitching about, look, you have gay marriage. You have the ability to fucking be a chick with a dick. And I don't care about that, but like you still have a dick, and so you still have testosterone in your system, and so you still should fucking play with the fucking men because you still have the bits and shit. All right, we don't want to see a dude punch a chick in the face and then have that chick fucking tap out and be like, I don't want to fucking play anymore, I'm out. It's like we don't want to see that. There is a massive difference in fucking the structure of a man versus a woman. And in 500 years, when your fucking body is being unearthed from paleontologists or whatever the fuck, they're going to be able to tell, okay, this was clearly a man, but why is it wearing a dress? Because of its fucking pelvic bone. There's a difference in shit like that. Yeah, let's celebrate a new way of guys being women. Like let's basically fucking prove that men are better at being women than women are at being women. Fucking Bruce Jenner is a prime example of that when he was on the cover of Vanity Fair. Yeah, dude, the same thing, and I honestly felt the same thing when the AEW had that, what was that chick, Nyla Rose? That's a dude, okay? And it's like, it wasn't necessarily a joke like when Harvina Whippleman or Santina Marella ended up becoming women's champion or divas champion. It's not the same thing. Like, that was a joke back then. It kind of still is. Nyla Rose being the AEW women's champion, like, they tried to take that seriously, and that in itself was a fucking joke. There's a difference, though, I feel like, like China ended up becoming Intercontinental Champion at some point. I personally felt like that at the time was more endearing for women because she wasn't pretending to be a fucking guy. She was a woman being a woman and measuring it up with the fucking dudes. Like, that to me is a little bit more empowering for women's rights than it is for dudes to be like, I suck at basketball, so I'm going to say that I'm a woman so I can overpower the WNBA. We already saw that in a movie called Juwanna Mann. It makes you wonder, do zoologists ask animals what gender they identify as? Now, here's the thing. That's all adult shit that I was fucking talking about. And I'm pretty sure they might ask the fucking monkeys. Ride wife, life good. Wife fight back, kill wife. Wife gone. Think about wife. Regret. Now, the LGBTQ thing, like, a vast majority of us is like, we don't want this shit indoctrinated into our children before they can figure out which side of the playpen smells the worst. You know, like, we shouldn't have fucking indoctrination into our fucking schools talking about gender rights. Like, gender equality, sure. You know, there's different certain things when it concerns gender equality. But when it concerns, like, LGBTQ rights on our children? Okay, like, look, the reality is that there are parents out there that actually wanted a daughter instead of a son, and so they fucking forced the kid to become the daughter. Have you ever watched the movie Sleepaway Camp? Same basic fucking plot. That was the plot of Sleepaway Camp, and then it turned out that this girl was a fucking psychopath. And she started killing motherfuckers. And then Sleepaway Camp 2, she was already, you know, she was in a fucking mental institution. She broke out, got a sex change, and fucking changed her identity as a full-blown female, and was doing the same fucking shit in Sleepaway Camp 2. Okay? Like, that's the premise of Sleepaway Camp 2. And guess what? If these people think that idiocracy is becoming a fucking real thing, so is Sleepaway Camp. I cannot fucking stress that enough. And it's because of parents like that I just described, who actually, like, they see their son playing with a fucking Barbie doll, so they think that the kid identifies as a girl or some shit. You know? And so, like, they force the kid for the rest of their life to fucking take estrogen and eventually get titties and and chop their fucking dick off because one day in fucking 2024, you know, in 2020, their 4-year-old decided to be a girl. You know what? They should have been like, all right, and let the kid fucking live their life. And when they turn 18, if they feel the same way, they have the capability to fucking get that sex change operation. It is not up to the parent to force the kid, because at some point in time, the kid could think that they were wrong. I mean, like in the 80s, I played with a Barbie doll. That doesn't make me a fucking girl. That makes me look at this Barbie doll and be like, titties. Where's the Neddin? You know, like that type of shit. But for the majority of the shit, like, I was obviously into chicks and stuff like that, but that doesn't mean that just because I was playing with a girl toy doesn't not necessarily mean that I identified as a fucking girl. And on top of that, like, the way that they fucking look at it, like, oh, men are as equal to women as women are to men and blah, blah, blah. No, like, no, there are certain things that men can do that women cannot fucking do, and vice versa. Like, I don't understand that. And then the next thing, immigrants, okay? They want immigrant rights. Okay, look, guess what? The immigrants that came into the country legally, they have rights in this country. The immigrants that jumped in the line, I said this before on a previous podcast, okay? Let's take you back to first grade, okay? You have recess, you come back, everybody fucking makes a line to the drinking fountain, everybody gets a drink. What happens to the person that tries to fucking cut in line and just jump in front of everybody else to get the drink? Oh, they get called out for it and they go back to the fucking back of the line. Okay? Same thing with fucking legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. The legal immigrants are the ones that are justifiably standing in their line to try to become to get their drink. The illegal immigrants, on the other hand, are the ones that are trying to fucking cut in line and try to get all the benefits without doing all of the fucking shit in order to get a drink faster. And what happens when they get called out? They get sent to the back of the line. In this case, the ones that come back multiple times end up going to a different drinking fountain. One in El Salvador. A little island in El Salvador that we fucking own. Is it right for slimy companies that hire illegal immigrants and thus not protected by OSHA workers' protection laws? Ironic, right? I personally don't think so. Like, they're like, they kind of, in a sense, it's like the illegal immigrants kind of hide in plain sight. You know, so like they can possibly try to pass off as fucking legal, but they're not. And if anything, they're one of them is probably one of the ones that is getting Social Security income, claiming to be 367 years old. Most LGBTQ plus parents say that they will love their kids no matter what, but they do not want it for their kids because they know the struggles that they have had and they don't want that for their kid. For me, it's like, okay, look, if you believe, if you as a kid think that you're a girl when you're a dude, okay, that's cute, okay, but if you keep that mentality until you're fucking old enough to make your own decisions and pay for your own fucking transitions, then that's fine. But I don't feel like that it is the parents that should encourage it. I don't feel like, because I feel like that there are some parents that encourage it. Yes, I love my kids no matter what. Okay, I have a kid who realized that he was gay when he was like 12 or 13. Okay, and he's over the age of 18 now, and he's still fucking gay. I love that kid no matter what. He's a fucking asshole, and he's very disrespectful, but there is an unconditional love to that. And he also had a phase where he thought he might be trans. What, just because he thought looked cute in a dress? Okay, I don't see him doing that shit anymore. I don't see him walking around in fucking high heels in public. Okay, so it's like, maybe he was wrong. Maybe he doesn't identify as a girl. He's just a fucking homo. And that's fine. Let's see, it's ironic that people argue for illegal alien rights, and yet those people's employers are not even holding them under OSHA regulations because they're undocumented. Yeah, so like if you hire an undocumented immigrant, or an illegal, if you will, and they get fucking hurt, it's the company that's going to be at fault because they willingly and knowingly hired somebody who is not a legal immigrant in this country. OSHA does not fucking I don't believe that OSHA has the legal capabilities to cover somebody who is undocumented and illegal in this country. And then the courts. Like I think I made my point when it concerns illegal immigration. It's not immigrants as a whole. Everybody that's a part of this country, if you take it down the line, they're all immigrants at some way, shape, or form. Okay? But it's the immigrants that are coming here, and not to mention that was like almost 250 fucking years ago. Laws have fucking changed. Okay? Things have been implemented into this country. There is a legal process to how things are getting done. So right now, all of the people that are getting shipped back to Mexico, El Salvador, Brazil, and wherever the fuck else are being like they're all fucking illegal. Now, not to say that it's 100% perfect and effective, but it has really fucking brought down like the process that they're fucking doing right now has brought down illegal immigration down 95%. According to what ICE has fucking said. And they try to say that all of these people are the fucking KKK or Hitler or something like that. Yeah, because, it's not like fucking Hitler and all them shits were fucking, Republican. Remind me, who fucking started the KKK? I believe it was the Democrats. The Democrats, at the beginning, fucking funded and saved the KKK. And where was this all done? Everywhere. They say and more, basically. But here's the thing. Hands off, they're only focusing on Trump and Elon Musk. And a lot of the things that they're doing is fixing shit that has been fucked up for decades. And yet, these people have Stockholm Syndrome so fucking bad that they want to focus on the richest guy in the world and our president, who is also a billionaire, and they want to fucking say that it's the billionaires and shit like that. Well, let me ask you a question. They're also fucking complaining about the stock market dropping, right? As if that has anything to do with our fucking economy. Okay, the stock market is based off of the trust and belief that a specific company that you have stock in is going to be successful in the future. Okay? This is why on the app Stash, which you can buy microtransactions, they tell you to invest in something that you believe in. Okay? You believe in a specific company, put some stock into it. And not to mention, since stock started, it has done nothing but go up in value. Okay? There are little dips here and there, but eventually it's going to go back up. So you know what I would say? Instead of bitching about the fucking stock market dropping, and which, by the way, a vast majority of the people who are bitching about it don't even hold stock. The only stock that they have is their 401k, which is basically a fucking portfolio. Okay? I have stock, and I'm not fucking complaining, because I know that it's going to eventually go back up. The market will go back up. And you know what I would say? Here's the thing, okay? The 1% hold, like the richest 1% of the world holds 17% of all the stock that exists. Okay? The low, like the 99% that are the fucking that are the fucking poorest, okay? Like the poorest 50, you know, the poor people, 50%, like the 50% of the poorest fucking people own 0.7% of stock. Okay? So a vast majority, I don't know, I know I'm not fucking, I know that there's gaps in that, but what I'm basically saying is that the very same people who are complaining about the stock market don't even hold fucking stock outside of their 401k. I have a 401k and I haven't seen it fucking drop. Okay? It was 7,000, it was sitting at 7,000 before the stock market dropped. It's still sitting at almost 8,000 now that the stock market has fucking been dropping. I have seen other stocks that have actually failed and dropped, and I'm not worried about it whatsoever. I also haven't seen prices of anything fucking go up because of that. Basically, the reason why the stocks have dropped is because people have sold their shares. That's the only reason why it has dropped. But they're fucking worried about that shit. But don't you think about it in a sense like this. Okay? Instead of trying to fucking correlate the economy with the stock market, maybe the stock market dropping is a form of eat the rich, which is something that Democrats had been fucking saying for the longest time. Eat the fucking rich. Talking about the millionaires and billionaires that retain, that earn and retain money indefinitely and put it in the stock market and shit. Maybe some people like Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell or some other fucking person in government who has inside trading deals. All right, the people who have actually had the capability to benefit from insider trading. Maybe those are the people that you need to fucking focus on, not just Elon Musk and Donald Trump because they're billionaires. What about other billionaires like George Soros, who's mostly probably, allegedly, okay? Allegedly, I will say, have the possibility of funding something like this hands-off shit. Nobody ever fucking thinks about that. And they probably didn't. Their sole focus is TDS syndrome, okay? The idea that Trump is at the fault of all of this shit. And we end up having the hands-off protest going worldwide. And here's a clip of some shit that happened on the 5th.
On this Saturday night, the world reacts to a new economic reality as Trump tariffs spread.
Hands off Greenland. That's an independent country. Hands off Canada.
So do protests on the streets and from international manufacturers. Plus, the new documents that show the original U.S. tariffs had little to do with border security.
He really didn't have much interest in knowing what's going on.
Campaign trail promises. The Liberals on trades, the Conservatives on red tape, and the NDP on the doctor shortage. And
Alex Ovechkin has Wayne Gretzky get ahead.
One goal away from bringing down the Great Ones record.
Who cares about that? Oh yeah, that reminds me. The fucking Prime Minister of fucking Canada tried to argue with these tariffs and basically was just like, and just like in hockey, we will beat the Americans. Oh, I'm sorry, but wasn't it the USA that as soon as the puck dropped, we beat the shit out of fucking Canada physically and by points? Does anybody did that not happen? I think I pointed that out. America beat the fucking shit out of Canada at their own sport. Fuck you. And guess what happened after he said that shit? A couple of days later, he bent the knee to America, and now we're working on a tariff deal, a much better tariff deal with Canada. So we get to keep our Tim Hortons. Good, because I love Tim Hortons. Y'all have fucking crack donuts that I have not seen since fucking Krispy Kreme. But other than that, I don't care about fucking hockey. I want to talk more about the fucking protests and shit. National news, it's global and it's wonderful.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Donald Trump's trade war has officially gone global with a 10% tariff taking effect on all imports from many countries,
including ones that are only fucking inhabited by penguins, which people made fun of. But it's like, okay, look, here's the reality. That island that is owned by that is inhabited only by penguins and doesn't have human beings on it or something like that, that's actually owned by Australia. So it was a good move, by the way, for Trump to put a 10% tariff on that on top of the 10% tariff on Australia, because if he did Australia only and not that island, then they could start saying that they imported fucking goods from that island just to get away with having no tariffs added onto their imports.
with heftier levies set to take effect next week.
So fuck the penguins.
Much of the world is now catching up to what's been the reality for Canada since last month. So-called hands-off protests have taken place in major cities across the U.S.
Hey, look, green Jello is at that protest. That's what it looks like. Trump is a Russian. Look at some of these fucking signs. Hands off our Medicaid. Hands off veterans. Hands off our unions and jobs. What the fuck?
U.S., Canada, and the world today. A coordinated show of defiance against Donald Trump's latest actions. The U.S. president is urging
America buys the most shit. Tariffs make it so America can negotiate now on the shit it buys abroad. It's so simple. Yeah, exactly.
Americans.
Oh yeah, take a look at some of these other signs.
Cities across the U.S., Canada, and the world today.
Wait for it.
A coordinated show of.
Okay, idiocracy is one of them. Of the people, for the people, by the people. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing. No to Musk, no to Tesla, no to fascism. Says the fucking group of people who were setting that shit on fire, using fear as a form of fucking protest against their own country. That's called domestic terrorism. That is a form of fascism. You are fighting fascism with fascism. Make it make sense, and I'm getting hangry.
Defiance against Donald Trump's latest actions. The U.S. president is urging Americans to hang tough, insisting he'll deliver historic results with his tariff plan. Candace Cole has tonight's top story.
Okay.
In Washington, D.C.
So we say to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, hands off Greenland. That's an independent country.
Oh, of course it's a fucking Democratic representative. They've been fucking loud as fuck. And they've been trying, but here's the thing though, they have no real leader. They are fucking just like the rest of the libtards. They are fucking running like headless chickens.
Hands off Canada. That's an independent country.
And around the
No, not necessarily. I mean, Alberta kind of wants to be American now.
world, people have gathered by the masses to decry the actions of President Donald Trump and his advisor, tech billionaire.
And that's how you fuck her right in the pussy.
Billionaire Elon Musk from Portugal.
I couldn't help it.
Is at stake in the United States and for the whole world with what Donald Trump is doing.
To Paris.
Whatever.
He's upending economies of some of the poorest countries in the world.
You know what's funny about this? About all of this? Even outside countries are fucking protesting this shit, right? Do you see with that, okay? With other fucking countries protesting all of this shit, isn't it interesting to say how much power one man actually has in the entire world? Like, literally, if there are outside intelligence outside of our own fucking planet, and they want to know who the leader is, it's America. And what's interesting to me is, like, we are the biggest consumer in the world, and we also have the most power now, and this proves that. And we are also the youngest fucking country. And we have the most power. We have the most money. We have the most influence. And when you have people in Paris and Portugal and Spain and Europe fucking protesting, that proves that. All of this hubbub from other countries about Donald Trump.
On a whim. What do you say?
Everybody else, even penguins, were affected by the tariffs.
As Americans also grapple with the dismantling of government agencies with hundreds of thousands of federal job cuts.
And they have little inflatable penguins, too.
Haven't seen a plan that this is making things more efficient. I've just seen that it is going to lead to more chaos and people really not having their needs met.
See, here's the thing. Y'all are thinking short term. This is a long-term investment, something that Trump is actually good at. And guess what? Other countries are trying to negotiate deals with Trump and America over these fucking tariffs. It's working. And yet these people do not see past their own fucking noses. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt, though. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. At least it wasn't like the fucking George Floyd protests where it started peaceful and then everything started getting destroyed. For food for thought, America could solve the Canada issue and the slavery quilt reparations at the same time. All we need to do is invade Canada and every black person gets at least one Canadian. Oh god, that's fucking terrible, but that's funny as hell at the same time. So, like I was saying, and I'm not going to fucking cover this. I want to actually wrap this up because it's getting late. I'm getting fucking hungry and I want a fucking burger at McDonald's. So this was the entirety of the fucking map. Okay. All of these areas are protesting in, this hands-off shit. Right. And the biggest fucking one, was the biggest date was this past Saturday. And here we are a day or two later after the fucking protests. So let me ask, is Trump still our president? Is Elon Musk still doing audits? Are we still doing the same shit that we were doing? Has anything fucking changed? No. Trump is still our president. Elon Musk is still gonna run out his fucking temporary employment, and then he's gonna go back and fucking do shit with Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter and fucking PayPal and all that other shit. The economy is going to slowly but surely fucking rise up. It just takes a matter of time. America is practically fucking fixing the problems that the other countries have created for our country, and he's doing it in the best way that he possibly can. It's a reboot, okay? And it's going to take some time. You just have to have some fucking patience. And yes, this is what we voted for, and I do not regret my fucking vote. I still don't regret my fucking vote. This is what I voted for. I voted for a fucking correction in this goddamn country. And I'm getting it. And I understand long-term investment. You know why? Because I own fucking stock. Okay, I bought $100 worth of shares on the Trump shit the day he was inaugurated, And I'm holding on to that for 4 years and seeing how much of a difference it's going to be when he gets out of office. I own stocks, I own crypto, all of it is fucking dipped, and I'm planning on seeing what it's going to look like in the near future. I will make money off of this shit. I will make money off the dividends, and I will make money off of the fucking, on the fucking growth rate when it fucking comes out. So my advice to everybody who's complaining about the fucking stock market dropping, shut the fuck up and buy the dip. Just buy the fucking dip. Hell, invest in Tesla. You know it's going to fucking go up. Even if you hate Tesla, invest in Tesla. It will go up. Now, okay, I can't handle this hunger anymore. I'm starting to feel woozy from being starved because I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm going to go get some McDonald's. I'm going to go invest in McDonald's, okay? So thank you everybody for watching and participating up in the chat and the fan funding. I appreciate all of you guys and the support you guys give me. Kyle Driver, thank you for your $5. Justin Temple for the $1.99, and Kyle for $2 more. See what I was talking about when it concerns the fucking the law of attraction? My bad. You see what I'm talking about with the law of attraction? I've been wanting this channel to be somewhat of a success, and it's slowly working. The same thing with my fucking stream on Twitch. It's slowly fucking working. And with that being said, make sure if you like watching video games and you like me, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/CrazyMcCormick. Same spelling. I'm playing fucking Sims and golf and fucking all sorts of other shit. But I'm going to shut the fuck up. I'm hungry. I'll see you guys next week on this show. Deuces. Much clown love, y'all.